People are drawn to emotional safety. People are drawn to emotional safety because it gives them something most people secretly crave but rarely receive: the freedom to stop protecting themselves. In a world where everyone is trying to appear confident, busy, unbothered, attractive, successful, and emotionally strong, meeting someone who makes you feel safe can feel almost addictive. It is not always loud. It does not always look like romance at first. Sometimes it begins with a calm voice, a patient response, or the feeling that you do not have to explain every part of yourself to be accepted. This is why emotional safety is so powerful in attraction. People may notice beauty first, but they remember peace longer. When someone feels safe around you, their nervous system begins to relax. They stop choosing every word carefully. They stop hiding their real opinions. They laugh more naturally. They reveal small truths they would normally keep guarded. Without realizing it, they begin to connect your presence with relief. The strange part is that emotional safety can create a deeper pull than excitement. Excitement may make the heart race, but safety makes the heart stay. When people feel judged, they withdraw. When they feel understood, they open. And once someone associates you with being understood, they may begin to seek you out, not just because they like you, but because being around you feels like finally breathing after holding themselves together for too long. That is why emotionally safe people often become unforgettable. They do not force attraction. They create a space where people feel seen, accepted, and calm, and that kind of presence can become dangerously hard to replace. Being understood is more attractive than being impressed. Being understood is more attractive than being impressed because admiration can feel distant, but understanding feels personal. Anyone can be impressed by your looks, achievements, confidence, money, talent, style, or social status. But when someone feels understood by you, something much deeper happens. They stop feeling like they have to perform for your attention. They stop trying to prove they are interesting. They begin to feel that you are not just looking at the version they show the world, but noticing the quieter parts they usually hide. This is why understanding creates stronger attraction than praise. Praise touches the ego, but understanding touches the heart. A person may enjoy being complimented, but they remember the one who noticed what they were really feeling underneath their words. They remember the one who heard the sadness behind their joke, the nervousness behind their confidence, or the loneliness behind their silence. That kind of attention feels rare because most people listen only long enough to reply, not long enough to truly see. When someone feels understood, they become emotionally open without even planning to. They may start sharing more, staying longer in conversation, or looking for your reaction before anyone else's. Not because you forced closeness, but because your presence makes them feel less alone inside themselves. That is the hidden power of understanding. It creates intimacy before intimacy is even spoken. Being impressive may get someone's attention, but being understanding can hold their emotions. Impressing people makes them look at you with admiration, but understanding them makes them feel connected to you. And once a person feels deeply understood, they may begin to crave your presence because you make their inner world feel less invisible. Calm energy makes people feel safe around you. Calm energy makes people feel safe around you because it tells their nervous system that there is no danger in your presence. Before people judge your words, looks, status, or personality, they are already reading your energy. They notice how you respond under pressure, how your voice sounds when things become tense, how your face reacts when they reveal something personal, and whether your presence makes the room feel lighter or heavier. This is why calmness can be more attractive than loud confidence. Loud confidence may grab attention, but calm energy holds it. When you are calm, people feel they do not have to defend themselves around you. They do not feel rushed, judged, attacked, or emotionally cornered. Your steadiness gives them permission to soften. They begin to breathe differently. They speak more honestly. They stop preparing for rejection before they even finish talking. Calm energy is powerful because most people are used to emotional chaos. They are used to people overreacting, interrupting, competing, criticizing, or turning every small issue into tension. So when they meet someone who remains grounded, it feels unusual, it feels mature, it feels like peace, and peace can become deeply addictive to a person who has spent too long around emotional noise. The attraction comes from the feeling that you are not easily shaken. People trust what feels stable. They want to be close to someone who does not make them anxious, confused, or unsafe. Your calmness becomes a silent signal that they can relax around you. And once someone connects your presence with peace, they may keep returning to you because being near you feels like escaping the pressure they carry everywhere else. Attention becomes powerful when it feels earned. Attention becomes powerful when it feels earned because people value what does not come too easily. When your attention is available to everyone, at every moment, with no standard, no patience, and no emotional control, it starts to lose weight. But when your attention is warm, present, and selective, people begin to feel that receiving it means something. They do not just enjoy it, they respect it. This is one of the quietest secrets of attraction. People are not only drawn to attention itself, they are drawn to the feeling that your attention has value. If you respond to everything instantly, laugh at everything, agree with everything, and give your energy away too freely, people may like the comfort of your presence, but they may not feel the pull of your value. Attraction grows stronger when someone senses that your focus is not automatic. When attention feels earned, it creates emotional tension, not cruel distance, not games, not coldness, but a subtle feeling that your presence must be met with sincerity. People begin to become more thoughtful around you. They choose their words more carefully. They show more effort. They become curious about what truly gets your interest because your attention does not feel cheap. The powerful part is that earned attention makes people feel chosen. When you finally listen closely, smile deeply, compliment honestly, or give your full presence, it lands harder because it was not scattered everywhere. They feel seen in a way that feels personal. And once someone experiences your attention as something rare, they may start wanting more of it, not because you chased them, but because your energy taught them that being noticed by you matters. Deep listening makes you unforgettable. Deep listening makes you unforgettable because most people are surrounded by noise, but rarely surrounded by true attention. Many conversations look like listening on the outside, but underneath, people are waiting for their turn to speak, preparing their next answer, or quietly judging what is being said. So when someone meets a person who listens with patience, focus, and emotional presence, it feels different. It feels rare. It feels almost disarming. Deep listening is powerful because it makes people feel important without you having to flatter them. When you listen closely, you are silently telling them, what you feel matters here. You notice the words they repeat. You notice what they avoid saying. You notice when their voice changes, when their smile hides discomfort, or when their silence carries more truth than their explanation. That kind of listening reaches places ordinary attention never touches. This creates attraction because people remember those who make them feel deeply seen. They may forget the exact conversation, but they will remember the feeling of not being interrupted, dismissed, or rushed. They will remember how their guard dropped without permission. They will remember how your quiet attention made them reveal things they did not expect to say. The magnetic part of deep listening is that it makes someone feel discovered. Not exposed, not judged, but discovered in a way that feels safe. And when people feel discovered, they often become emotionally attached to the person who saw them clearly. Your listening becomes more than a social skill. It becomes a memory in their body. Later, when they are around people who only hear words and miss the meaning, they may find themselves thinking of you because you made being understood feel possible. People want those they can relax around. People want those they can relax around because most of life already demands too much emotional effort. Every day, people are trying to appear strong, interesting, attractive, intelligent, successful, healed, and in control. They edit their words, manage their expressions, hide their insecurities, and pretend certain things do not bother them. So when they meet someone who allows them to breathe without performing, that person immediately feels different. Relaxation creates attraction because it removes pressure. People do not only remember who excited them, they remember who made them feel free from tension. When someone can sit with you without feeling judged, rushed, tested, or emotionally examined, they begin to trust your presence. Their shoulders drop. Their laughter becomes more natural. Their words become less filtered. They stop trying to impress you and start becoming real around you. This kind of comfort is powerful because it creates emotional dependence quietly. A person may not understand why they enjoy being near you so much. They may simply say, you are easy to talk to, peaceful, or different. But underneath, their nervous system has started connecting you with relief. You become a break from the pressure they carry everywhere else. The deeper pull comes from contrast. If the world makes them feel tense, but you make them feel calm, your presence becomes valuable. If others make them feel like they must prove themselves, but you make them feel accepted, they will naturally want more access to you. People are drawn to those who feel like rest, and once someone can truly relax around you, they may begin to crave your presence because being with you feels like coming home to a version of themselves they do not have to hide. Mystery works when it comes from self-control. Mystery works when it comes from self-control because people are naturally curious about what they cannot immediately read, access, or predict. But real mystery is not about pretending to be cold, disappearing for attention, hiding your personality, or acting confusing on purpose. That kind of mystery feels childish after a while. The kind that creates attraction comes from restraint. It comes from knowing what to reveal, when to speak, and when to let silence carry weight. Self-control makes mystery powerful because it shows that you are not desperate to be understood by everyone. You do not rush to explain every emotion. You do not expose every thought the moment it enters your mind. You do not give your full story to people who have not earned the right to hear it. This creates a quiet sense of depth. People begin to feel there is more to you than what they can see. That kind of mystery pulls people in because it gives their mind something to explore. They start wondering what you think, what you feel, what you have experienced, and why your energy feels so contained. You become interesting not because you are unavailable, but because your presence has layers. The emotional power of self-controlled mystery is that it makes your openness feel valuable. When you finally share something personal, it lands harder because it was not given carelessly. When you show warmth, it feels intentional. When you give attention, it feels chosen. People are drawn to those who do not spill themselves everywhere. Mystery becomes attractive when it is rooted in discipline, because controlled depth makes people want to come closer without feeling like they already know everything. Needing less validation makes you more magnetic. Needing less validation makes you more magnetic because it shows people that your sense of worth is not waiting to be approved by the room. Most people are quietly searching for signs that they are liked, desired, respected, attractive, or important. They watch reactions. They measure replies. They become anxious when attention disappears. So when someone carries themselves without begging to be noticed, it creates a rare kind of power. This does not mean acting proud, cold, or uninterested. It means your mood does not collapse because someone failed to praise you. It means you do not change your personality just to win approval. It means you can be warm, kind, and present without needing constant confirmation that you are enough. That kind of inner steadiness makes people curious because it feels uncommon. Validation independence creates attraction because people respect those who are not easily controlled by attention. If praise makes you lose yourself or rejection makes you desperate, others can sense it. But when you remain grounded, whether you are admired or ignored, your presence becomes stronger. People start wondering what gives you that quiet confidence. They feel that you are not performing for them, and that makes your energy feel more real. The powerful part is that needing less validation makes your attention feel cleaner. You are not complimenting people just to be liked. You are not agreeing just to be accepted. You are not chasing just to feel chosen. This makes your words carry more weight because they come from self-possession, not hunger. And when people sense that you do not need their approval to feel valuable, they often begin giving it more freely because your confidence makes them want to earn a place in your world. A pause makes your words feel stronger. A pause makes your words feel stronger because silence creates weight before meaning arrives. Most people rush to speak because they are afraid of awkwardness. They answer quickly, explain too much, fill every empty space, and weaken their own presence by making every thought feel easily available. But when you pause before speaking, something changes. People begin to feel that your words are not accidental. They feel chosen. This is why a pause can create attraction. It makes you seem calm, thoughtful, and emotionally in control. You are not reacting from panic. You are not speaking just to be heard. You are allowing the moment to breathe before you respond. That small delay makes people pay closer attention because the mind naturally values what it has to wait for, even for a few seconds. A pause also gives your words emotional authority. When someone says something personal, tense, flirtatious, or challenging, and you do not immediately rush in, your silence creates curiosity. They wonder what you are thinking. They become more aware of your reaction. Their focus sharpens because your response feels important. The powerful thing about pausing is that it makes ordinary words feel deeper. A simple answer after a calm pause can feel more confident than a long speech said too quickly. A compliment after a pause can feel more sincere. A boundary after a pause can feel more serious. A question after a pause can feel more intimate. People are drawn to those who do not fear silence. When you can pause without looking nervous, your presence becomes stronger. You teach others that your words are not noise. They are intentional, measured, and worth listening to. A soft voice with firm boundaries attracts. A soft voice with firm boundaries attracts because it combines two things people rarely find together: warmth and strength. Many people confuse power with loudness. They think being respected means raising their voice, sounding harsh, or proving they cannot be challenged, but real presence often comes from the opposite. A person who can speak gently while still standing firmly in what they mean creates a deeper kind of attraction. A soft voice makes people feel safe. It lowers tension. It tells the other person they do not have to prepare for attack, embarrassment, or emotional punishment. When your tone is calm, people are more likely to listen because they do not feel forced to defend themselves. Your words enter more easily because your energy does not feel aggressive. But softness without boundaries can become weakness. If your voice is gentle, but your standards disappear, people may enjoy your kindness without respecting your limits. That is why firm boundaries matter. Firmness tells people there is a line they cannot cross. It shows that your kindness is not desperation, your patience is not permission, and your calmness is not fear. This combination creates powerful attraction because it feels mature. People are drawn to someone who can say no without cruelty, express discomfort without drama, and protect their peace without becoming cold. It makes your presence feel safe but not easy to misuse. The emotional pull comes from balance. You are not frightening, but you are not fragile. You are not harsh, but you are not available for disrespect. A soft voice with firm boundaries makes people feel calm around you while still sensing your strength. That contrast is magnetic because it shows emotional control, self-respect, and quiet authority. People remember how you made them feel. People remember how you made them feel because emotions leave a deeper mark than words. A person may forget the exact thing you said, the clothes you wore, the place you met, or the small details of the conversation, but they will remember the emotional atmosphere you created around them. They will remember whether they felt nervous or calm, judged or accepted, invisible or important, pressured or free. This is one of the strongest secrets of attraction. People are not only attached to faces, voices, or moments. They become attached to feelings. If your presence makes someone feel seen, respected, understood, desired, peaceful, or emotionally safe, they begin to connect those feelings to you. You become more than a person in their memory. You become a state they want to experience again. That is why small moments can become powerful. A patient response, a sincere compliment, a calm reaction, or the way you listened when they expected to be dismissed can stay with someone longer than a dramatic gesture. The heart records what the mind overlooks. Sometimes, the most unforgettable thing about you is not what you did, but the relief someone felt when they were with you. This is also why careless energy can destroy attraction quickly. If someone feels small, anxious, embarrassed, or emotionally unsafe around you, they may remember that discomfort even if your words sounded right. Attraction is not built only by being impressive. It is built by creating an emotional experience people want to return to. When people feel better in your presence, they carry you with them after the moment ends. They may not know why they keep thinking about you, but their emotions remember. The less you chase attention, the more you get it. The less you chase attention, the more you get it, because people are naturally drawn to those who do not seem hungry for approval. When someone is always trying to be noticed, always forcing jokes, always proving their value, or always pushing themselves into the center, their energy can feel desperate. Even if they are attractive, talented, or interesting, the need to be seen can weaken their presence. Attention becomes more powerful when you are not begging for it. When you are calm in your own space, comfortable with silence, and secure enough not to compete for every eye in the room, people start to notice you differently. Your quietness creates curiosity. Your self-control creates respect. Your lack of desperation makes others wonder what gives you that inner steadiness. This is why chasing often pushes people away. When you chase attention, you silently tell others that their approval controls your worth. But when you stop chasing, your energy changes. You are no longer performing for acceptance. You are simply present. That kind of presence feels rare because most people are trying so hard to be chosen that they forget how powerful it is to choose themselves first. The attraction comes from independence. People want to know the person who does not need the room to clap before they feel valuable. They become curious about the one who can enjoy a moment without needing to dominate it, and when your attention is not scattered everywhere, it becomes more meaningful when you finally give it. The less you chase attention, the more magnetic you become because your calm absence from the noise makes your presence feel stronger. Positive unpredictability keeps curiosity alive. Positive unpredictability keeps curiosity alive because the human mind quickly grows bored with what it can fully predict. When someone knows exactly how you will speak, react, agree, laugh, respond, and show up every time, the emotional tension begins to fade. Familiarity can create comfort, but too much predictability can make your presence feel ordinary. Attraction needs some comfort, but it also needs curiosity. Positive unpredictability is not about being confusing, unreliable, or emotionally inconsistent. That kind of behavior creates anxiety, not attraction. Real positive unpredictability means you have pleasant layers. You can be calm, but still playful, gentle, but still firm, serious, but still unexpectedly humorous, private, but still warm when the moment is right. This makes people feel there is always something more to discover about you. Curiosity grows when people cannot reduce you to one simple pattern. If they think they understand you completely, and then you reveal a new side in a natural way, their attention sharpens again. They begin to wonder what else is hidden beneath your surface. That wonder creates emotional movement, and emotional movement keeps attraction alive. The powerful part is that positive unpredictability makes your presence feel fresh without making people feel unsafe. You are not disappearing to create panic. You are not changing moods to control someone. You are simply refusing to become flat, repetitive, or emotionally predictable. You keep your energy alive. People are drawn to those who feel familiar enough to trust, but interesting enough to keep discovering. When you bring small surprises into your personality, your conversations, your humor, and your reactions, you give people a reason to keep paying attention. Curiosity becomes the silent thread pulling them closer. Observant compliments beat empty flattery. Observant compliments beat empty flattery because they make people feel truly seen, not just casually praised. Anyone can say, "You look good," "You are smart," or "You are amazing." Those words may sound nice, but they are often too easy, too common, and too general to leave a lasting mark. Empty flattery touches the surface. Observant compliments reach the hidden places people secretly wish someone would notice. An observant compliment shows attention. It tells someone you are not just reacting to what everyone else can see, you are noticing the details others miss. Maybe it is the way they stay calm under pressure, the way they explain things with patience, the way their eyes change when they talk about something they love, or the quiet effort they put into making others comfortable. That kind of compliment feels personal because it proves you were paying attention. This creates attraction because people are deeply moved by being recognized accurately. Most people feel misunderstood, overlooked, or reduced to obvious things. So when you compliment something specific, it feels different. It does not sound like a line. It sounds like discovery. The person may smile on the outside, but inside, they may replay it later because you touched something they did not expect anyone to notice. The power of observant compliments is that they create emotional intimacy without forcing it. You are not overwhelming someone with praise. You are giving them a mirror that reflects a part of themselves they may secretly value, but rarely hear acknowledged. Empty flattery can make someone feel entertained for a moment. Observant compliments can make them feel remembered, and when people feel remembered, they begin to associate your attention with depth, warmth, and quiet power. Noticing small details makes people feel special. Noticing small details makes people feel special because it proves your attention is not shallow. Most people move through conversations only catching the obvious things: appearance, mood, status, beauty, success, or what someone says loudly. But the deeper parts of a person often hide in small details. The slight change in their voice, the way they light up when talking about something they love, the habit they repeat without knowing, the quiet sadness behind a smile, the effort they make that nobody praises. When you notice these things, you make people feel chosen out of the crowd. You are silently telling them, "I see what others miss." That feeling can be deeply powerful because many people are tired of being looked at but not truly noticed. They may receive attention, but not observation. They may receive compliments, but not recognition. So when you remember something small about them, it creates a private emotional impact. This is why small details can create strong attraction. Remembering their favorite drink, the story they told once, the way they prefer to be spoken to, or the little thing that makes them nervous can make them feel important. It shows care without needing dramatic gestures. It makes your presence feel personal. The emotional pull comes from the fact that people want to believe they matter beyond the obvious. When you notice what others overlook, you enter a deeper space in their memory. You become associated with being seen, valued, and understood. And once someone feels special around you, they may start seeking your presence because you make them feel less invisible in a world that often rushes past them. Leaving comfortably makes your presence valuable. Leaving comfortably makes your presence valuable because people often respect what is not afraid to disappear. When someone stays too long, explains too much, waits for approval, or keeps forcing their presence after the moment has naturally ended, their energy can begin to lose strength. Even if they are liked, the inability to leave can make them feel too available. But when you can leave calmly, without drama, pressure, or emotional begging, your presence begins to carry more weight. This works because people measure value through access. If your time, attention, and energy are always available, others may enjoy them without fully appreciating them. But when you know how to step away at the right moment, you quietly communicate self-respect. You show that you are not clinging to the interaction. You are not desperate to be remembered. You are comfortable enough within yourself to let the moment breathe. Leaving comfortably also creates emotional space. And space is where curiosity grows. When you leave with warmth, confidence, and calmness, people are left with the feeling of you rather than the exhaustion of too much access. They may replay what you said, remember how you made them feel, or wonder when they will experience your presence again. Your absence begins to protect the value of your presence. The attraction comes from restraint. You do not need to overstay to prove importance. You do not need to chase the final word, the final laugh, or the final sign of interest. You leave while the energy is still alive. And when people associate you with good moments that end before they become too much, they begin to value your presence as something they do not want to waste. Quiet confidence needs no audience. Quiet confidence needs no audience because it is not built on applause, attention, or approval. Many people only feel powerful when others are watching them, praising them, reacting to them, or confirming that they matter. Their confidence rises when the room notices them and falls when the room becomes silent. But quiet confidence is different. It does not need constant proof. It does not beg to be seen. It exists even when nobody is clapping. This kind of confidence attracts because it feels stable. People can sense when someone is trying too hard to prove they are important. They can feel the hunger beneath the performance. But when you carry yourself with calm self-respect, without forcing others to recognize it, your presence becomes stronger. You do not need to dominate the room to be felt. You do not need to speak the loudest to be remembered. Your stillness begins to create curiosity. Quiet confidence is powerful because it suggests inner security. It tells people you know who you are before anyone gives an opinion. You are not easily shaken by criticism, ignored by attention, or controlled by someone's mood. That steadiness makes others feel safe around you because they do not have to constantly feed your ego. The emotional pull comes from the mystery of someone who does not need to perform. People wonder what gives you that calmness. They notice how you move, how you speak, how you remain composed when others are trying to be noticed. Quiet confidence makes your presence feel rare because it does not demand attention, yet somehow receives it. When confidence needs no audience, it becomes more believable. And what feels believable becomes deeply attractive. People want someone who already feels complete. People want someone who already feels complete because wholeness creates a quiet kind of attraction that neediness cannot imitate. When a person seems empty, desperate, or dependent on others to give them identity, love, confidence, or direction, their energy can feel heavy. It may make others feel needed, but not always deeply attracted. Need can create pressure. Completeness creates pull. A complete person does not enter every connection looking to be rescued, chosen, fixed, or emotionally filled. They may still desire love, closeness, affection, and companionship, but they do not treat another person like the missing piece of their life. This makes their presence feel lighter. People can come close without feeling trapped by responsibility. They can love them without feeling like they must constantly repair them. This is powerful because emotional independence makes affection feel cleaner. When you already have a sense of self, your kindness does not feel like begging. Your attention does not feel like clinging. Your silence does not feel like punishment. Your love does not feel like a desperate attempt to survive. Instead, everything you give feels chosen, not forced by emptiness. People are drawn to that because completeness suggests value. It makes others feel they are being invited into a life, not asked to become the entire life. There is mystery in someone who can enjoy connection without losing themselves inside it. There is strength in someone who can care deeply without becoming dependent on being chosen. The emotional pull comes from knowing that your presence is wanted, not desperately required. A person who already feels complete makes love feel like addition, not rescue. And that kind of energy can become incredibly attractive. Enjoying your own company creates curiosity. Enjoying your own company creates curiosity because people are naturally intrigued by someone who does not seem afraid to be alone. Many people treat solitude like a punishment. They need constant messages, constant noise, constant attention, constant plans, and constant proof that somebody wants them. So when you appear comfortable by yourself, without looking lonely, bitter, or desperate for rescue, it makes people wonder what is happening inside you. This kind of self-enjoyment is attractive because it suggests inner richness. It tells people your world is not empty just because nobody is standing beside you. You can sit alone without looking abandoned. You can eat alone without looking ashamed. You can enjoy silence without rushing to fill it. You can move through life without needing every moment to be witnessed. That calm independence creates a quiet mystery. People become curious because they sense that your happiness is not fully controlled by outside attention. You are not waiting for someone else to give your life meaning. You already have thoughts, interests, routines, dreams, pleasures, and private peace that belong to you. That makes others wonder what it would feel like to be invited into your world. The emotional pull comes from the fact that people value what seems whole without them. When you enjoy your own company, your presence feels less needy and more intentional. You do not attach yourself to others out of emptiness. You choose connection because it adds to your life, not because you cannot stand yourself without it. That kind of energy is powerful. It makes people wonder why you are so comfortable alone, what you know about yourself, and what kind of peace they might feel if they came closer to you. Emotional restraint can be deeply attractive. Emotional restraint can be deeply attractive because it shows that you are not controlled by every feeling that passes through you. Many people react immediately when they are upset, jealous, excited, offended, or insecure. They speak too quickly, reveal too much, accuse too fast, or turn small moments into emotional storms. So when someone can feel deeply but still respond with control, their presence becomes powerful. Restraint does not mean being cold, fake, or emotionally unavailable. It means your emotions have depth, but they do not drag you everywhere. You can be hurt without becoming cruel. You can be interested without becoming desperate. You can be angry without losing dignity. You can care without giving someone complete control over your peace. That kind of emotional discipline makes people feel they are dealing with someone mature, not someone easily shaken. This creates attraction, because restraint adds weight to your reactions. If you do not overreact to everything, people pay attention when you finally speak seriously. If you do not give affection carelessly, your warmth feels more meaningful. If you do not expose every feeling instantly, your vulnerability feels more valuable when it appears. Controlled emotion creates curiosity because people sense there is more happening beneath the surface. The emotional pull comes from safety and mystery working together. People feel safe because you are not unpredictable in a harmful way, but they also feel curious because you are not fully readable. You do not spill your whole inner world for anyone who asks. Emotional restraint makes your presence feel composed, rare, and difficult to misuse. And in a world where many people are ruled by impulse, someone who can feel strongly and still remain steady becomes deeply attractive. Comfortable. Silence creates power. Comfortable silence creates power because most people are afraid of empty space. They rush to fill quiet moments with nervous laughter, unnecessary explanations, forced jokes, repeated questions, or words they do not even mean. Silence makes them feel exposed, so they try to escape it quickly. But when you can sit calmly in silence without looking anxious, needy, or uncomfortable, your presence immediately feels stronger. This kind of silence is attractive because it shows emotional control. You are not desperate to entertain. You are not begging for approval. You are not using words to hide insecurity. You can allow a moment to breathe without panicking. That calmness makes people feel that you are grounded, self-contained, and not easily shaken by social pressure. Comfortable silence also makes your words more valuable. When you do not speak constantly, people listen more closely when you finally say something. Your voice carries more weight because it is not buried under noise. A simple sentence after a calm silence can feel deeper than a long speech from someone who talks too much. Silence creates space for curiosity, and curiosity makes people pay attention. The emotional pull comes from how rare it feels. Many people are used to interactions filled with pressure, performance, and endless talking. So when they meet someone who can be quiet without making the silence awkward, it feels peaceful, it feels mature, it feels safe. People are drawn to those who do not fear stillness. Comfortable silence tells others that you are not trying to force a connection. You are steady enough to let it form naturally, and that quiet confidence can make your presence feel powerful, calm, and unforgettable. Speaking clearly beats talking too much. Speaking clearly beats talking too much because people are more affected by words that feel intentional than words that feel endless. Many people believe they become more interesting by saying more, explaining more, defending more, adding more details, and filling every space with their voice. But too much talking can weaken presence. It can make your thoughts feel scattered, your confidence feel uncertain, and your energy feel hungry for attention. Clear speech is powerful because it shows control. When you speak with focus, people feel that your words have direction. You are not throwing thoughts everywhere and hoping something lands. You are choosing what matters and leaving out what does not. That makes others listen differently. They lean in because your words are not buried under too much noise. This creates attraction because clarity feels mature. A person who can say what they mean without over-explaining appears grounded. They do not need to prove every point. They do not panic when there is silence. They do not drown the conversation just to feel important. Their confidence is not loud, but it is felt. Talking too much can sometimes reveal insecurity. It can make people feel exhausted, pressured, or trapped in your energy. But clear speech gives people room to think, respond, and feel involved. It respects the space between two people. The emotional pull comes from precision. When your words are clear, people feel safe because they do not have to guess what you mean. They feel drawn in because your communication has weight. Speaking clearly makes you memorable because your words are easy to hold on to. And in a world full of noise, the person who speaks with calm clarity often becomes the one people actually hear. Warmth with limits creates pull. Warmth with limits creates pull because it gives people comfort without making your presence feel too easy to misuse. Warmth alone can make people feel welcomed, accepted, and cared for. But when it has no boundaries, it can quickly lose power. Some people may enjoy your kindness without respecting you. They may take your patience as weakness, your availability as desperation, and your softness as permission to cross lines they should have honored. This is why limits make warmth more attractive. They show that your kindness comes from strength, not fear. You can be gentle without being easily controlled. You can be affectionate without becoming needy. You can care about someone without abandoning yourself to keep them close. That balance creates a rare kind of emotional tension. People feel safe with you, but they also understand that your energy has standards. Warmth with limits makes your presence feel valuable because it teaches people that closeness to you must be treated with respect. You are not cold, but you are not careless with yourself. You do not punish people with distance, but you also do not reward disrespect with unlimited access. This makes your attention feel mature, clean, and intentional. The attraction comes from the contrast. People are drawn to the person who can make them feel seen without becoming desperate to be chosen. They trust the warmth, but they respect the limits. That combination makes you feel emotionally safe, yet powerful. When warmth has limits, people feel invited, not entitled. They sense that your closeness is real, but not guaranteed. And that quiet boundary around your kindness can make your presence deeply magnetic. People value attention. They feel they earned. People value attention they feel they earned because the human mind respects what requires effort. When attention is given too freely, too quickly, or too constantly, it can start to feel ordinary. People may enjoy it, but they may not treasure it. But when your attention comes with presence, patience, and standards, it becomes more meaningful. It feels like something personal, not something you give to everyone without thought. This is why earned attention creates stronger attraction than easy attention. If you are always available, always reacting, always replying, always complimenting, and always trying to please, your energy may feel comforting at first, but it can lose emotional weight. People often place higher value on what they have to approach with sincerity. When they sense that your focus is not automatic, they become more aware of how they show up around you. Earned attention does not mean playing cruel games or making people suffer for your approval. It means you are not careless with your energy. You listen deeply when someone is genuine. You respond warmly when the moment feels real. You give your full presence to people who meet you with honesty, respect, and effort. That makes your attention feel clean, not desperate. The emotional pull comes from feeling chosen. When someone finally receives your full focus, they feel it more deeply because it was not scattered everywhere. Your smile feels more personal. Your compliment feels more sincere. Your listening feels more intimate. People value attention they feel they earned because it makes them feel seen in a way that feels special. And once they experience your attention as rare, they may start wanting more of it because being noticed by you feels like a quiet reward. Not over-explaining makes you seem grounded. Not over-explaining makes you seem grounded because it shows that you are not desperately trying to control how people see you. Many people explain too much because they are afraid of being misunderstood, judged, rejected, or disliked. They keep adding details, defending their choices, repeating their reasons, and trying to make everyone agree with them. But the more they explain, the more uncertain they can appear. A grounded person does not feel the need to turn every decision into a courtroom. They can speak clearly, give enough information, and then allow their words to stand. This creates power because it shows inner stability. You are not begging people to approve your feelings. You are not chasing permission to have boundaries. You are not trying to convince everyone that your choices are valid. This is attractive because self-assurance feels rare. When you do not over-explain, people sense that you trust yourself. Your words become cleaner. Your presence becomes calmer. Your boundaries become stronger. Instead of sounding nervous, you sound settled. Instead of looking defensive, you look composed. Over-explaining can sometimes make people feel there is weakness behind your words, even when your point is right. But saying what needs to be said, without drowning it in fear, makes your communication feel confident. It also teaches others that access to your inner world is not unlimited. The emotional pull comes from restraint. People are curious about those who do not spill every thought just to be accepted. Not over-explaining makes you seem like someone with depth, standards, and self-trust. And when people sense that you are not easily pushed into defending your existence, they often respect you more. People respect what they cannot control. People respect what they cannot control because control often lowers mystery, value, and emotional weight. When someone feels they can easily predict you, pressure you, guilt you, rush you, manipulate your mood, or make you chase their approval, they may still like you, but they may not fully respect you. Respect grows when people sense that your mind, your peace, your time, and your choices are not easily owned by anyone else. This is why self-control creates attraction. A person who cannot be easily pulled into drama feels powerful. They do not collapse when someone withdraws attention. They do not beg when someone acts distant. They do not change their values just to be liked. They can care deeply, but they do not surrender their dignity to keep someone close. That kind of emotional independence makes people pause. Being hard to control does not mean being cold, stubborn, or impossible to love. It means you have a center. You can listen without being dominated. You can compromise without losing yourself. You can be kind without becoming obedient. You can be interested without becoming desperate. That balance makes your presence feel strong because people understand there are limits to how much they can move you. The emotional pull comes from the fact that people value what has its own gravity. When your peace cannot be bought with praise or destroyed by rejection, your energy becomes harder to dismiss. People begin to respect you because they sense you are not emotionally available for misuse. People respect what they cannot control because it reminds them that you are not a possession, a backup option, or a puppet for their moods. You are someone with self-command, and self-command is deeply magnetic. Kindness without neediness feels powerful. Kindness without neediness feels powerful because it shows that your goodness is not a strategy for being chosen. Many people are kind because they secretly want approval, attention, affection, forgiveness, or emotional security in return. Their kindness comes with a hidden fear. If I stop giving, they may stop liking me, so they overextend, overgive, overplease, and call it love, when deep down, it is often anxiety wearing a soft face. True kindness feels different. It is warm but not desperate. It gives but does not beg. It cares but does not abandon itself. When you are kind without needing someone to reward you emotionally, your presence becomes stronger. People can feel that your kindness comes from who you are, not from a hunger to be accepted. This creates attraction because neediness can make even beautiful kindness feel heavy. If someone senses that every good thing you do is secretly asking, "Do you like me now?" they may feel pressured instead of touched. But when your kindness is calm and self-respecting, it feels safe. It does not trap people. It does not demand immediate closeness. It does not make affection feel like a debt. The emotional pull comes from balance. You can be gentle without being weak. You can be thoughtful without being controlled. You can care deeply without turning yourself into something people use. That kind of kindness carries dignity. People are drawn to kindness that feels free, not forced. When you give from strength, your warmth becomes more valuable. Others begin to respect your heart because it is generous, but not easy to exploit. Kindness without neediness feels powerful because it proves you can love, care, and support without losing yourself. Stop trying to be liked, and presence sharpens. Stop trying to be liked, and presence sharpens because the need for approval softens your power. When you are constantly trying to make everyone comfortable, impress everyone, please everyone, and avoid every possible judgment, your energy becomes scattered. You stop moving from truth and start moving from fear. People may sense that you are adjusting yourself too much, and even if they do not say it, your presence begins to feel less solid. The moment you stop trying so hard to be liked, something changes. Your words become cleaner, your choices become calmer, your silence becomes less nervous. You no longer laugh at things you do not find funny just to belong. You no longer agree with opinions that go against your values just to avoid tension. You no longer shapeshift into whatever will make people approve of you in the moment. This is powerful because people are drawn to those who feel self-possessed. A person who is not begging to be liked carries a different kind of weight. They can be warm without being fake. They can be kind without becoming weak. They can be social without losing themselves. That kind of presence feels rare because most people are performing for acceptance without even realizing it. The emotional pull comes from authenticity. When you stop trying to be liked, people feel they are meeting something real. They may not always agree with you, but they can sense your groundedness. Your energy becomes sharper because it is no longer diluted by the fear of rejection. People respect the one who can stand in their own truth without making a scene. And that quiet refusal to chase approval can make your presence deeply magnetic. A calm reaction gets replayed later. A calm reaction gets replayed later because it interrupts what people expect. Most people are used to emotional reactions that are quick, loud, defensive, offended, desperate, or unstable. They expect tension to create tension. They expect disrespect to create anger. They expect distance to create chasing. So when you respond calmly instead of losing control, the moment becomes memorable because it feels different from the pattern they are used to. Calmness has power because it makes people question themselves. If someone tries to provoke you and you remain steady, they may wonder why they could not move you. If someone tests your patience and you do not collapse into anger, they may later replay your composure. If someone gives you less attention and you do not chase, they may start thinking about the strength behind your silence. Your calm reaction becomes a mirror that shows them their own emotional noise. This is attractive because self-control creates mystery. People are drawn to those who do not give away their power too easily. A calm reaction suggests that you have depth, discipline, and inner security. It tells others that your emotions exist, but they do not control you. That kind of restraint can feel rare in a world where many people react before they think. The emotional pull comes from the way calmness lingers. A loud reaction may dominate the moment, but a calm one follows people home. They remember your face, your voice, your pause, and the fact that you did not break the way they expected. A calm reaction gets replayed later because it leaves unanswered questions. Why were you so steady? Why did your silence feel stronger than their noise? Why did your control make them feel the impact more deeply? Values attract more than moods. Values attract more than moods because moods change, but values reveal who you are when feelings are unstable. Anyone can be kind when they are happy, patient when life is easy, loyal when they are comfortable, and respectful when they are getting what they want. But values show themselves when things are inconvenient. They show in how you speak when you are disappointed, how you act when nobody is praising you, and how you treat people when your emotions are not being served. This is why values create deeper attraction than temporary excitement. A good mood can make someone enjoyable for a moment, but strong values make them trustworthy over time. People may be drawn to charm, humor, beauty, or confidence at first, but they stay emotionally connected to someone whose character feels steady. When your actions are guided by principles instead of every passing feeling, people sense safety in you. Moods can make a person unpredictable. One day they are warm, the next day they are cold. One moment they are loving, the next they are careless. That kind of emotional inconsistency may create tension, but it does not create true respect. Values create a different kind of pull because they show that your behavior has roots. You are not just reacting, you are choosing. The emotional power of values is that they make you feel reliable without making you boring. People begin to trust your presence because they know your kindness is not just a mood, your loyalty is not just convenience, and your respect is not just performance. Values attract more than moods because they make people feel they are dealing with someone real, steady, and difficult to replace. Stable energy makes you rare. Stable energy makes you rare because most people are emotionally unpredictable. One moment they are warm, the next they are distant. One day they are excited, the next they are cold. They change their tone based on mood, attention, insecurity, jealousy, stress, or the reaction they receive from others. Being around that kind of energy can make people feel unsure, guarded, and emotionally tired. When your energy is stable, people begin to relax around you. They do not have to keep guessing which version of you they will meet. They do not have to study your mood before speaking. They do not feel like one wrong word will suddenly change the atmosphere. Your steadiness becomes a kind of emotional safety, and emotional safety is one of the strongest forms of attraction. Stable energy does not mean you never feel hurt, angry, tired, or disappointed. It means you do not make everyone else suffer because your emotions changed. You can have feelings without becoming chaotic. You can be honest without being harsh. You can be quiet without being cold. You can need space without making others feel punished. This creates attraction because stability feels rare in a world full of emotional noise. People are drawn to those who make them feel peaceful, not confused. They remember the person whose presence does not drain them, test them, or keep them guessing. The emotional pull comes from trust. When someone knows your energy is steady, they feel safe enough to come closer. They begin to associate you with calm, maturity, and quiet strength. Stable energy makes you rare because it tells people that being near you will not cost them their peace. A gentle no builds respect. A gentle no builds respect because it shows that your kindness has a backbone. Many people are afraid to say no because they do not want to disappoint others, create tension, look selfish, or risk being disliked. So they agree when they are tired, accept what makes them uncomfortable, give more than they can afford, and stay silent when something crosses their limits. But the more they betray themselves to keep peace, the less people learn to respect their boundaries. A gentle no is powerful because it protects your dignity without attacking anyone. It does not need anger, insult, drama, or harshness to be firm. It simply says, "This is my limit," while still keeping your emotional control. That kind of response feels mature because it shows you can honor yourself without becoming cruel. This creates attraction because people respect those who can stand by their limits calmly. When you say no with fear, people may push harder. When you say no with aggression, people may feel attacked. But when you say no gently and firmly, it becomes difficult to argue with your energy. You are not begging for permission. You are not trying to wound them. You are simply choosing yourself. The emotional pull comes from self-respect. People are drawn to someone who does not collapse under pressure just to stay liked. A gentle no tells others that access to you has standards. It teaches them that your time, body, attention, peace, and emotions are not available for careless use. A gentle no builds respect because it proves your softness is not weakness. It shows that you can be warm, considerate, and still impossible to control. Centered people make others notice their own chaos. Centered people make others notice their own chaos because calmness has a way of exposing disorder without saying a word. When someone is grounded, steady, and emotionally controlled, they become a mirror to the restless energy around them. People who are used to reacting quickly, speaking harshly, overthinking everything, or moving through life with emotional noise may suddenly become aware of how unsettled they feel in comparison. This is one reason centered people can be so attractive. They do not need to prove they are powerful. Their steadiness speaks for them. They can sit in a tense room without becoming tense. They can hear criticism without falling apart. They can face silence without rushing to fill it. That kind of presence makes others feel that something deeper is holding them together. Centered energy creates emotional contrast. Around chaotic people, everyone may feel normal because the whole atmosphere is unstable. But around someone centered, chaos becomes noticeable. The anxious person feels their anxiety. The defensive person feels their defensiveness. The dramatic person feels the weight of their own drama. Not because they are being judged, but because your calmness gives them something different to measure themselves against. This creates attraction because people often crave what they lack. Someone who lives inside emotional storms may become fascinated by the person who seems untouched by every passing wind. They may wonder how you stay so steady, why your energy does not collapse, and what it would feel like to be closer to that kind of peace. Centered people make others notice their own chaos because they carry a quiet order that the world rarely gives, and that order can feel magnetic to anyone tired of being ruled by emotional noise. Calm disagreement shows maturity. Calm disagreement shows maturity because it proves you can hold a different view without turning the moment into a battle. Many people become defensive the moment someone challenges them. They raise their voice, interrupt, insult, withdraw, mock, or try to dominate the conversation just to avoid feeling wrong. But when you can disagree calmly, your presence feels stronger because you are not being controlled by the discomfort of opposition. This kind of disagreement is attractive because it shows emotional intelligence. You can say what you think without making the other person feel attacked. You can stand by your opinion without needing to destroy theirs. You can listen without surrendering your position. That balance makes people feel that you are safe to speak with, even when there is tension. Calm disagreement also creates respect. It tells people that your confidence is not fragile. You do not need everyone to agree with you before you feel secure. You are not threatened by another perspective. You can handle difference without becoming small, cruel, or dramatic. That kind of self-control makes your words feel more valuable because they come from thought, not impulse. The emotional pull comes from safety and strength working together. People are drawn to someone who can challenge them without humiliating them. They feel seen, even when corrected. They feel respected, even when opposed. That makes your disagreement easier to receive because your tone does not feel like punishment. Calm disagreement shows maturity because it reveals how you behave when harmony is tested. Anyone can be charming when everyone agrees, but the person who stays composed during disagreement shows depth, confidence, and emotional control, and that quiet maturity can become deeply attractive. Calm intention is stronger than charm. Calm intention is stronger than charm because charm is easy when everything feels pleasant. Anyone can smile when the room is friendly, speak beautifully when there is no pressure, and appear attractive when nothing is testing their control. But tension reveals what charm can hide. It shows whether a person is truly grounded or only polished when things are easy. When tension enters a moment, people start watching differently. They notice your tone. They notice your face. They notice whether you become defensive, rude, nervous, desperate, or emotionally loud. In that moment, calmness becomes more powerful than clever words. It tells people that you are not easily shaken. You can feel pressure without becoming pressure. You can face discomfort without losing yourself. This is why calmness and tension creates deep attraction. It makes others feel safe around your strength. You are not pretending conflict does not exist, but you are also not letting conflict control your behavior. That balance feels rare. People are used to reactions that explode, withdraw, blame, or punish. So when you remain steady, your presence becomes memorable. Charm may attract attention, but calmness earns respect. Charm can make someone enjoy you for a moment, but calmness makes them trust you when emotions rise. And trust is often more powerful than excitement because it reaches deeper than surface attraction. The emotional pull comes from the feeling that you can be relied on when the atmosphere changes. People want someone who does not become dangerous when uncomfortable. Calm intention is stronger than charm because it proves your confidence is not decoration. It is discipline, and discipline under pressure makes your presence feel powerful, safe, and difficult to forget. Slow intimacy feels more valuable. Slow intimacy feels more valuable because people often treasure what unfolds with patience. When closeness happens too quickly, it can feel exciting at first, but it may also feel unstable, careless, or easy to lose. Many people rush connection because they want certainty. They want fast attention, fast trust, fast emotional access, and fast reassurance that they matter. But what is rushed is not always deeply respected. Slow intimacy creates attraction because it allows curiosity to grow. When you do not reveal everything at once, people have time to notice your layers. They wonder about your thoughts, your past, your standards, your emotions, and the parts of you that are not immediately available. This does not mean playing games or pretending to be distant. It means understanding that real closeness becomes stronger when it is earned naturally. There is power in not giving full access before trust has been built. When you share slowly, your vulnerability carries more weight. When you open up with timing, your words feel more personal. When you allow connection to deepen step by step, the other person feels the privilege of being invited closer instead of feeling like everything was handed to them too easily. The emotional pull comes from anticipation. People value moments that feel special, not automatic. A gradual bond gives the heart time to attach, remember, and desire more. It creates a feeling that something meaningful is forming, not just something temporary passing through. Slow intimacy feels more valuable because it protects depth from becoming cheap. It teaches people that closeness to you is not random. It is careful, intentional, and worth respecting. And what feels worth respecting often becomes harder to forget. A meaningful life beyond romance attracts. A meaningful life beyond romance attracts because it shows that love is not the only thing holding you together. Many people make romance the center of their identity. Their mood, confidence, purpose, and sense of worth rise or fall depending on who is texting them, choosing them, missing them, or giving them attention. That kind of energy can feel intense at first, but over time, it often becomes heavy. When you have a life beyond romance, your presence feels fuller. You have interests, goals, routines, friendships, values, work, creativity, faith, growth, or private dreams that keep you connected to yourself. You are not waiting for another person to become the whole meaning of your existence. This makes your energy more attractive because people can feel that your world already has life in it. A meaningful life creates mystery. Others begin to wonder what moves you, what you care about, what you are building, and what kind of inner world you carry when nobody is watching. You become more than someone looking for affection. You become someone with direction, and direction creates respect. This also makes romance feel healthier. When you are not empty without love, your affection becomes a choice, not a survival need. You can care deeply without becoming consumed. You can desire someone without losing yourself. You can enjoy closeness without abandoning your own path. The emotional pull comes from independence. People are drawn to those who feel alive before romance enters the picture. A meaningful life beyond romance attracts because it tells others that being with you is not a rescue mission. It is an invitation into something already growing, already rich, and already worth entering. Direction without bragging is magnetic. Direction without bragging is magnetic because it shows quiet purpose without begging for admiration. Many people want others to know how ambitious, successful, talented, intelligent, or hardworking they are, so they announce every move, exaggerate every win, and turn every conversation into proof of their value. But when someone has direction without constantly displaying it, their presence feels stronger. They are not trying to convince the room they matter. They are simply moving like someone who already knows where they are going. This kind of direction creates attraction because it suggests inner certainty. People can sense when your life has shape. They notice when your actions are guided by purpose instead of mood, boredom, attention, or insecurity. You do not need to talk endlessly about your goals because your discipline, choices, and consistency already speak. That silence around your ambition makes it feel more real. Bragging can weaken attraction because it often reveals hunger for validation. It makes success feel like a performance, but quiet direction feels grounded. It tells people you are building something, becoming something, and protecting something within yourself. That makes others curious. They begin to wonder what you are working toward, what drives you, and what kind of future you are quietly preparing for. The emotional pull comes from controlled confidence. You have movement, but not noise. You have ambition, but not arrogance. You have standards, but not a constant need to announce them. People are drawn to someone whose life feels intentional because it creates a sense of depth. Direction without bragging is magnetic because it makes your purpose feel private, powerful, and believable. And what feels real without being advertised often becomes the most attractive thing about you. A little distance makes warmth stronger. A little distance makes warmth stronger because people feel the value of closeness more clearly when it is not constantly available. When someone is always present, always replying, always giving, always explaining, and always emotionally open, their warmth can begin to feel ordinary. It may still be kind, but it loses some of its weight because there is no space for anyone to miss it, desire it, or recognize its value. Distance does not mean coldness. It does not mean ignoring people, playing games, or making someone feel unwanted. Healthy distance means you have your own life, your own rhythm, your own peace, and your own boundaries. You can care without hovering. You can be affectionate without becoming clingy. You can show interest without making your whole emotional world depend on someone's response. This creates attraction because space gives warmth meaning. When you are not always available, your presence feels more intentional when it returns. A message feels sweeter. A smile feels more personal. A conversation feels more alive. People feel the difference between your absence and your presence, and that contrast makes your warmth more noticeable. The emotional pull comes from balance. Too much distance can make people feel rejected, but too much closeness can make connection feel heavy. A little distance protects the beauty of your warmth. It gives people room to think about you, wonder about you, and feel the effect of your absence. A little distance makes warmth stronger because it keeps affection from becoming predictable. It teaches people that your closeness is real, but not something to take for granted, and what cannot be taken for granted often becomes more desired. Natural attraction beats forced effort. Natural attraction beats forced effort because people can often feel when someone is trying too hard. Forced effort may look like constant flirting, exaggerated confidence, endless compliments, overthinking every message, copying what others like, or performing a version of yourself that does not feel real. At first, it may get attention, but it rarely creates deep attraction because the energy behind it feels tense. Natural attraction is different. It does not beg to be noticed. It comes from comfort in your own skin, honest expression, emotional control, and the ability to be present without forcing a reaction. When you are natural, people feel less pressure around you. They do not feel like they are being hunted, managed, impressed, or emotionally cornered. They feel like they are meeting a real person, not a performance. This is powerful because attraction grows best in freedom. When someone feels you are trying too hard to win them, they may start feeling responsible for your confidence. But when your energy is relaxed, they feel free to become curious on their own. Curiosity that rises naturally is stronger than attention that is pushed into existence. Forced effort often comes from fear. Fear of being ignored, rejected, forgotten, or not enough. Natural attraction comes from self-trust. It says, I can show up as myself without needing to control every outcome. That kind of energy feels peaceful, and peace is magnetic. Natural attraction beats forced effort because people are drawn to what feels real. They may be entertained by performance, but they become attached to authenticity when you stop trying to manufacture attraction and start embodying calm confidence. Your presence becomes easier to feel, harder to resist, and more difficult to forget. Make people feel seen, not studied. Make people feel seen, not studied. Because attention becomes attractive only when it feels human. There is a big difference between noticing someone and analyzing them like a project. When people feel seen, they feel understood, valued, and emotionally safe. But when they feel studied, they may become uncomfortable, guarded, or suspicious, as if every word, movement, and reaction is being measured for your advantage. Seeing someone means paying attention with warmth. It means noticing the little things without making the person feel exposed. You hear what they say, but you also respect what they are not ready to reveal. You observe their emotions, but you do not use those emotions to control them. You remember details, but you do not turn those details into pressure. That balance makes your attention feel comforting instead of invasive. This creates attraction because people want to be recognized without feeling trapped. They want someone to notice their effort, their sadness, their excitement, their silence, and their hidden softness. But they do not want to feel like they are being watched too closely. When your attention feels gentle, they relax. When it feels too intense, they protect themselves. The emotional pull comes from sensitivity. A person who makes others feel seen understands timing, tone, and restraint. They know when to ask, when to listen, when to stay quiet, and when to let someone keep a piece of themselves private. Make people feel seen, not studied, because true attraction grows where attention feels safe. When someone feels understood without feeling exposed, they begin to trust your presence. And trust makes your attention feel rare, warm, and deeply memorable. Remembering details creates attachment. Remembering details creates attachment because it makes people feel important in a way ordinary attention cannot. Most people are used to being heard in the moment and forgotten afterward. They tell stories, share preferences, reveal small worries, mention little dreams, and often assume nobody will remember. So, when you bring up something they said days, weeks, or even months ago, it touches them differently. It tells them their words did not disappear after the conversation ended. This is powerful because memory feels like proof of care. Anyone can act interested while someone is speaking, but remembering details shows that your attention had depth. You noticed the name of someone they love. You remembered what makes them nervous. You recalled their favorite food, the problem they were facing, the place they wanted to visit, or the small goal they almost casually mentioned. That kind of memory can feel deeply personal. Attachment grows when someone feels carried in your mind. They begin to sense that they are not just another person passing through your day. They feel like they occupy a small, meaningful space inside your awareness. That feeling can create emotional closeness without needing dramatic words or grand gestures. The attraction comes from being remembered accurately. People want to feel special, but they especially want to feel special without begging for it. When you remember details naturally, you give them that feeling. You make them feel seen beyond the obvious. Remembering details creates attachment because it turns attention into emotional evidence. It quietly says, "You mattered enough for me to keep this." And once someone feels remembered by you, they may begin to associate your presence with warmth, safety, and rare emotional value. People love how they feel around you. People love how they feel around you because attraction is not only about who you are, it is also about who they become in your presence. Someone may admire your looks, confidence, intelligence, humor, or style, but what truly stays with them is the emotional version of themselves they experience when they are near you. If they feel calm, interesting, desired, understood, safe, or alive around you, they begin to connect those feelings to you. This is why emotional atmosphere matters so much. People may not always remember every word you said, but they remember whether your presence made them feel bigger or smaller. They remember whether they felt free to speak, comfortable enough to laugh, safe enough to be honest, and valued enough to stay open. When being around you makes someone feel like a better, softer, stronger, or more real version of themselves, they start wanting that feeling again. This creates attachment because people often chase emotional states more than people. They return to the person who makes them feel peaceful after chaos, confident after insecurity, seen after being ignored, and accepted after feeling judged. You become linked to relief, warmth, and emotional expansion. The powerful part is that they may not even understand why they keep thinking about you. They may simply say, "I like being around you." But underneath, their nervous system remembers the comfort, excitement, or safety you created. People love how they feel around you because you become more than a person. You become an experience. And when that experience makes them feel understood, wanted, and emotionally at ease, your presence becomes something they do not easily forget. Make them feel confident, and they return. Make them feel confident, and they return because people are naturally drawn to anyone who helps them feel better about themselves. Attraction is not only created by how impressive you are, it is often created by how powerful, relaxed, interesting, beautiful, or capable someone feels when they are around you. If your presence makes them stand taller inside themselves, they will remember you differently. Most people move through life carrying silent insecurity. They wonder if they are enough, if they are attractive enough, smart enough, wanted enough, or interesting enough to hold attention. They may hide it behind humor, success, confidence, or emotional distance. But the need to feel valued is still there. So when you make someone feel confident without flattering them falsely, you touch a place they rarely let others reach. This kind of confidence building is powerful because it feels like emotional sunlight. You notice their strengths. You respond to them with respect. You make them feel heard instead of dismissed. You give compliments that sound real, not cheap. You create a space where they do not feel small, awkward, or judged. Around you, they feel more like the version of themselves they wish they could be everywhere. The emotional pull comes from association. When someone feels confident around you, their mind links that feeling to your presence. They may begin to seek you out, not only because they like you, but because being near you makes them feel more alive within themselves. Make them feel confident, and they return because people often go back to the person who awakens their best self. When your presence makes someone feel valuable, they do not just remember you, they remember who they became around you. Not competing for attention attracts attention. Not competing for attention attracts attention because it separates you from the noise. In many social situations, people are trying to be noticed. They speak louder, exaggerate stories, force jokes, interrupt conversations, display confidence, and push their presence into the room because they are afraid of being invisible. But when you do not compete, your energy becomes different. You are not fighting to be chosen, and that quiet self-possession makes people curious. This works because people can sense desperation beneath performance. Someone who constantly battles for attention may look confident on the surface, but the hunger underneath can weaken their presence. It makes their energy feel dependent on reaction. But a person who does not compete carries a calmer kind of power. They do not need every eye on them to feel valuable. They do not need to dominate every conversation to prove they matter. That kind of restraint creates attraction because it makes your attention feel selective. You are present, but not desperate. You can enjoy the room without needing to own it. You can speak when it matters instead of filling every silence. You can listen without disappearing and be quiet without seeming weak. This balance makes people notice you more deeply. The emotional pull comes from mystery and self-respect. People begin to wonder why you are not trying so hard like everyone else. They notice your calmness because it contrasts with the neediness around you. Your lack of competition makes your presence feel secure, and secure energy is magnetic. Not competing for attention attracts attention because you stop looking like someone who needs to be seen. Instead, you become someone people choose to look for. Relaxed humor beats approval-seeking humor. Relaxed humor beats approval-seeking humor because people can feel the difference between someone who is naturally playful and someone who is begging for a reaction. Humor is attractive when it feels light, confident, and effortless. But when someone forces jokes, laughs too hard at themselves, keeps checking if people are amused, or turns every moment into a performance, the humor can start to feel tense instead of enjoyable. Approval-seeking humor often comes from fear. The person is not simply trying to share a funny moment. They are trying to prove they are likable, interesting, cool, or worth keeping around. Every joke becomes a small test. If people laugh, they feel safe. If people do not laugh, they become awkward, louder, or more desperate. That energy can make others feel uncomfortable because the room starts carrying the weight of their insecurity. Relaxed humor is different. It does not demand anything. It does not pressure people to validate you. It allows laughter to happen naturally. A relaxed person can joke without needing to be the funniest person in the room. They can smile when a joke lands and stay calm when it does not. That ease makes the humor feel cleaner, warmer, and more attractive. The emotional pull comes from comfort. People enjoy being around someone who can make things lighter without turning laughter into a performance. Relaxed humor creates safety because it tells others they do not have to manage your ego. Relaxed humor beats approval-seeking humor because it comes from confidence, not hunger. It makes people feel entertained without feeling pressured, and when your humor feels easy, natural, and self-contained, your presence becomes more magnetic. Laugh without trying to dominate. Laugh without trying to dominate because laughter becomes more attractive when it feels shared, not forced into control. Some people use laughter like a spotlight. They laugh the loudest, interrupt the moment, turn every joke back to themselves, or try to become the center of every light-hearted exchange. At first, this may seem confident, but over time, it can make their energy feel hungry, competitive, and exhausting. True laughter does not need to own the room. It allows other people to feel included, relaxed, and free. When you laugh naturally, without trying to overpower everyone, your presence feels easier to enjoy. People do not feel like they have to compete with you, perform for you, or step aside so you can take over the moment. They feel invited into the joy instead of swallowed by it. This creates attraction because relaxed laughter shows emotional security. You are not using humor to prove you are superior. You are not laughing to draw attention to yourself. You are simply present enough to enjoy the moment. That kind of ease makes people feel safe around you because your joy does not come with pressure. The emotional pull comes from generosity. When you laugh without dominating, you make others feel like they matter in the moment too. You leave space for their humor, their reactions, their timing, and their personality. That balance makes your warmth feel mature and socially intelligent. Laugh without trying to dominate, because people are drawn to those who can enjoy attention without consuming it. A controlled laugh, a natural smile, and a relaxed sense of humor can make you feel confident without becoming overwhelming. And that kind of lightness often leaves people wanting more of your presence. One sincere smile can do a lot. One sincere smile can do a lot because it reaches people before words have the chance to explain anything. A real smile can soften tension, lower someone's guard, make a cold moment warmer, and create a small emotional opening where connection can begin. It may look simple, but when it is genuine, it tells the other person, "You are welcome here," without needing to say it out loud. This is why a sincere smile can be so attractive. People are used to forced smiles, polite smiles, nervous smiles, and smiles used to hide discomfort. But a smile that feels real carries a different energy. It is not trying too hard. It is not begging for approval. It is not performed for attention. It comes from warmth, presence, and emotional ease. That makes it feel personal. A sincere smile can make someone feel noticed in a gentle way. It can make them feel less invisible, less tense, and less afraid of rejection. Sometimes one calm smile at the right moment can stay in a person's memory longer than a long conversation because it gave them a feeling they were not expecting. It made the moment feel lighter. The emotional pull comes from safety. A genuine smile tells people that your energy is not hostile, judgmental, or closed. It invites closeness without pressure. It gives warmth without demanding anything back. One sincere smile can do a lot because it creates emotional permission. It tells someone they can relax, speak, laugh, or come a little closer. And when a smile feels honest, well-timed, and rare, it can make your presence feel warmer, softer, and much harder to forget. Presence is rarer than beauty. Presence is rarer than beauty because beauty can attract the eyes, but presence holds the attention. Many people are physically attractive, well-dressed, polished, stylish, or impressive from a distance. But when they enter a conversation, something feels missing. They may look good, but they are not fully there. Their mind is distracted, their attention is divided, their energy feels restless, and their words do not make people feel truly met. Presence is different. It is the feeling that someone is completely with you in the moment. They are not secretly searching for someone more important in the room. They are not half listening while planning what to say next. They are not performing confidence while emotionally absent. Their attention feels steady, warm, and alive. That kind of focus is rare because most people are physically present but emotionally elsewhere. This is why presence can become more attractive than beauty. Beauty may make someone look twice, but presence makes them feel something. When you are truly present, people feel noticed, respected, and important. Your eyes listen. Your silence has weight. Your responses feel connected to what they actually said. You make the moment feel real instead of rushed. The emotional pull comes from being fully received. People are tired of shallow attention. They are tired of conversations where everyone is waiting to speak, checking their phone, or trying to look interesting. So when you give someone your full presence, it can feel almost intimate. Presence is rarer than beauty because it makes people feel less alone. A beautiful face may be remembered for a moment, but a present person is remembered in the heart. Make people feel chosen, not pressured. Make people feel chosen, not pressured, because attraction grows best when someone feels wanted without feeling trapped. There is a major difference between giving attention and demanding a response from it. When your energy feels too forceful, too urgent, or too hungry for confirmation, people may begin to pull away, even if they liked you at first. Pressure turns warmth into weight. Feeling chosen is different. It makes someone feel special, seen, and valued, but still free. It says, "I notice you," without saying, "You owe me." It gives attention without turning attention into a cage. It allows the other person to enjoy your presence without feeling responsible for your emotions, your confidence, or your sense of worth. This is powerful because people are naturally drawn to freedom. When someone feels pressured, their nervous system becomes guarded. They start measuring their words, delaying replies, avoiding closeness, or creating distance just to breathe. But when they feel chosen in a calm, respectful way, they relax. They feel safe enough to move closer because closeness does not feel like a demand. The emotional pull comes from softness with control. You can show interest without chasing. You can give warmth without overwhelming. You can make someone feel important without making them feel hunted. That balance makes your attention feel mature and attractive. Make people feel chosen, not pressured, because true attraction cannot grow where someone feels emotionally cornered. When your presence gives them both value and freedom, they begin to associate you with ease, respect, and desire. And when people feel wanted without feeling controlled, they often come closer by choice. Walking away respectfully creates power. Walking away respectfully creates power because it shows that you can leave without losing your dignity. Many people only know how to leave with anger, insults, silence, revenge, begging, or emotional drama. They either hold on too long because they fear losing someone, or they exit in a way that proves how hurt they are. But when you can walk away calmly, without hatred and without chasing, your presence becomes stronger even in your absence. Respectful distance is powerful because it communicates self-worth. It says you are not available for disrespect, confusion, emotional games, or one-sided effort. But you also do not need to destroy someone to prove you are hurt. You can honor what happened, accept what is no longer healthy, and remove yourself without turning the moment into a performance. This creates attraction because self-control during departure is rare. People expect desperation when they pull away. They expect anger when they disappoint you. They expect pleading when they fail to value you. So when you leave with calm respect, it unsettles them in a quiet way. They may begin to replay your composure because your absence did not feel weak. It felt chosen. The emotional pull comes from the fact that respectful walking away protects your value. You do not stay where your peace is being drained. You do not beg someone to understand what they keep choosing to ignore. You do not trade your dignity for temporary closeness. Walking away respectfully creates power because it proves you can care and still choose yourself. It shows that your love, attention, and presence are meaningful but not unlimited. And when people realize you can leave without breaking, they often understand your value too late. Quiet standards attract respect. Quiet standards attract respect because they show people how to treat you without needing loud announcements. Many people talk endlessly about what they will not accept, what they deserve, how valuable they are, and how high their standards are. But when their actions do not match their words, those standards lose power. Quiet standards are different. They are not performed, they are lived. A person with quiet standards does not need to threaten, explain, or prove their worth every time someone crosses a line. They simply adjust access. They stop rewarding disrespect with unlimited attention. They stop arguing with people who already understand what they did. They stop lowering themselves just to keep a connection alive. This kind of silence is not weakness, it is self-command. This creates attraction because people respect what feels consistent. When your standards are quiet but firm, others sense that your peace is protected. They know your kindness does not mean anyone can misuse you. They know your patience has limits. They know your warmth is real but not available to people who repeatedly take it for granted. The emotional pull comes from restraint. You do not need to make a scene to show that something matters. You do not need to beg for respect. You do not need to convince people that your boundaries are valid. You let your choices speak louder than your explanations. Quiet standards attract respect because they make your presence feel stable, mature, and difficult to manipulate. People begin to understand that closeness to you requires care, honesty, and emotional responsibility. And when someone realizes your standards are not noise but truth, they often begin to treat your presence as something valuable. Do not make closeness feel cheap. Do not make closeness feel cheap because people often stop valuing what is given without care, timing, or standards. Closeness is powerful when it feels meaningful. It becomes weaker when it is handed out too quickly, too easily, or to people who have not shown they can handle it with respect. When you give full emotional access before trust is built, your presence may feel comforting, but it may not feel rare. Cheap closeness happens when you reveal too much too soon. Give too much attention too quickly. Forgive without change. Stay available despite disrespect, or let someone enjoy your warmth without meeting you with effort. It teaches people that access to you requires little responsibility, and when access feels too easy, appreciation can slowly disappear. This does not mean becoming cold or distant. It means understanding that real connection needs value. Your time, stories, affection, vulnerability, and emotional energy should not be scattered carelessly. When closeness is gradual and intentional, people feel the weight of being invited closer. They understand that your inner world is not open to everyone just because they showed interest. The attraction comes from emotional value. People are drawn to what feels personal, not common. When your closeness is protected by self-respect, it becomes more powerful. A private conversation feels deeper, a moment of vulnerability feels more intimate, your attention feels like something worth honoring. Do not make closeness feel cheap, because what is too easily accessed is often too easily taken for granted. When you treat your presence as valuable, others are more likely to treat it with care. Self-respect changes how people receive you. Self-respect changes how people receive you because it quietly teaches them the value of your presence before you even explain yourself. People do not only respond to your words, looks, kindness, or personality. They also respond to the way you treat yourself. If you constantly lower your standards, apologize for existing, accept disrespect, chase people who ignore you, or shrink yourself to be liked, others may begin to receive you through that same low value. Self-respect creates a different energy. It changes your posture, your tone, your decisions, your boundaries, and the way you allow people to access you. You stop giving unlimited attention to those who treat you casually. You stop explaining your worth to people committed to misunderstanding it. You stop making yourself smaller just to keep a connection from falling apart. This becomes attractive because people can feel when someone honors themselves. Your kindness feels stronger because it is not mixed with desperation. Your silence feels deeper because it is not fear. Your boundaries feel clearer because they come from inner certainty. You do not need to announce that you are valuable. Your behavior already carries that message. The emotional pull comes from dignity. People respect those who do not abandon themselves for approval. They may test your limits, but when they realize your self-respect is real, they begin to approach you differently. Some will rise to meet your standard. Others will disappear because they can no longer benefit from your lack of boundaries. Self-respect changes how people receive you because it changes what you allow, what you answer to, and what you walk away from. When you value yourself properly, your presence becomes harder to misuse and easier to respect. Not gossiping makes you feel safe. Not gossiping makes you feel safe because people notice what you do with other people's private lives. When someone constantly exposes secrets, mocks weaknesses, repeats personal stories, or turns someone's pain into entertainment, others may laugh in the moment, but deep down, they begin to wonder what that person says when they are not in the room. Gossip may create temporary closeness, but it often destroys real trust. A person who does not gossip carries a different energy. They make people feel protected. They show that not everything shared with them will become a story for someone else. They do not use people's mistakes as social currency. They do not build connection by tearing down another person's dignity. This kind of restraint makes their presence feel mature, calm, and emotionally safe. This creates attraction because trust is rare. People are tired of opening up to those who later expose them. They are tired of friendships and relationships where private moments become public jokes. So when they meet someone who can hear information without spreading it, they begin to relax. They feel that their vulnerability has somewhere safe to land. The emotional pull comes from quiet loyalty. Not gossiping tells people that your character does not change depending on who is watching. It shows that you respect people even when they are absent. That kind of integrity makes others feel they can be real around you without fear. Not gossiping makes you feel safe because it proves your attention is not dangerous. People may enjoy someone who entertains them with secrets, but they trust the person who knows when to stay silent. And trust can become more attractive than charm. Protecting peace quietly is attractive. Protecting peace quietly is attractive because it shows that you have control over your inner world without needing to make a performance of it. Some people announce every boundary, every disappointment, every offense, and every reason they are removing themselves from a situation. They turn peace into a public statement, but the person who protects their peace quietly carries a different kind of power. They do not need noise to prove they are done. Quiet peace protection means you notice what drains you, disrespects you, confuses you, or pulls you away from yourself, and you respond with calm adjustment. You may reduce access, change your distance, stop explaining, or choose silence, but you do it without revenge, drama, or emotional display. This makes your energy feel mature because you are not trying to punish people with your peace. You are simply choosing not to lose it. This creates attraction because people respect someone who is not easily dragged into chaos. When you protect your peace quietly, you show that your calmness is not accidental. It is guarded. It is chosen. It is something you value enough not to trade for attention, arguments, gossip, or temporary approval. The emotional pull comes from self-possession. People are drawn to those who do not need to react to everything. They notice when you refuse to be pulled into unnecessary tension. They sense that your silence is not weakness, but discipline. Protecting peace quietly is attractive because it makes your presence feel clean, stable, and difficult to disturb. You become someone who does not create emotional noise or tolerate it for long. And in a chaotic world, that kind of quiet control can feel deeply magnetic. Simple style often beats trying too hard. Simple style often beats trying too hard because attraction becomes stronger when your appearance feels natural, clean, and self-assured. Many people believe they need to be loud, excessive, expensive, flashy, or perfectly polished before they can be noticed. They overdo everything, from clothes to accessories, fragrance, makeup, hair, posture, and even the way they enter a room. But too much effort can sometimes make the energy feel tense instead of attractive. Simple style works because it suggests confidence. It tells people you are not hiding behind decoration or begging to be seen through exaggeration. You understand what suits you, and you do not need to force attention through excess. That kind of ease creates a quiet pull because it feels intentional without feeling desperate. This does not mean looking plain or careless. Simple style still requires thought. It means choosing what fits well, looks clean, feels comfortable, and matches your personality. It means allowing your presence to breathe instead of covering it with too many distractions. When your style is simple but well kept, people notice you, not just what you are wearing. The emotional pull comes from restraint. People are often drawn to what feels effortless, even when effort is quietly present. A simple look can make someone wonder why you seem so calm in yourself. It can make your confidence feel believable because you are not trying to prove too much. Simple style often beats trying too hard because it allows your energy, posture, voice, and personality to come forward. When you stop dressing like you are begging for attention and start presenting yourself with quiet self-respect, your presence becomes cleaner, stronger, and more memorable. Good posture shows self-possession. Good posture shows self-possession because the body often speaks before the mouth does. Before people hear your voice, understand your thoughts, or know your personality, they notice how you carry yourself. A slouched body can sometimes suggest tiredness, insecurity, fear, or emotional heaviness, even when none of those things are fully true. But upright posture sends a different message. It quietly says you are present, aware, and not trying to disappear. This is why posture affects attraction. People are naturally drawn to those who seem comfortable occupying space. When you stand or sit with calm alignment, your presence feels more grounded. You do not appear like you are shrinking away from attention or begging to be overlooked. You look like someone who belongs where they are. That sense of belonging can be magnetic because it creates silent confidence. Good posture is not about being stiff, arrogant, or overly polished. It is about relaxed control. Your shoulders do not need to be forced back aggressively. Your chin does not need to rise like you are looking down on others. The power comes from ease. A body that is open, balanced, and steady makes people feel that your inner state is also steady. The emotional pull comes from the way posture changes perception. When you carry yourself with self-possession, people often receive your words with more weight. Your silence feels stronger. Your eye contact feels clearer. Your movements feel more intentional. Good posture shows self-possession because it tells others that you are not collapsing into the room. You are meeting it. And when your body communicates quiet confidence, people often feel your presence before you even say a word. Slow movement signals confidence. Slow movement signals confidence because rushed energy often reveals inner tension. When someone moves too quickly, constantly fidgets, checks around nervously, adjusts themselves too much, or reacts to every small thing with sudden motion, their body can make them appear anxious, unsure, or desperate to be noticed. Even if they say the right words, their movements may tell a different story. A person who moves slowly creates a different impression. Their body seems controlled, present, and unshaken. They do not look like they are trying to escape the moment. They do not seem overwhelmed by the room. They move as if they have time, as if they belong, as if nothing around them has the power to rush their nervous system. That kind of physical calm can make their presence feel stronger. This creates attraction because confidence is often felt before it is explained. People notice the way you turn your head, reach for something, walk into a room, sit down, or respond to someone speaking. Slow movement gives your actions weight. It makes you seem intentional instead of reactive. It tells people that you are not being dragged around by insecurity. The emotional pull comes from control. In a world where many people move with panic, pressure, and restless energy, someone who moves calmly feels rare. Their stillness becomes noticeable. Their gestures feel more meaningful. Their presence feels less scattered. Slow movement signals confidence because it shows that you are comfortable enough not to rush for approval. You do not need to prove yourself through speed, noise, or nervous motion. You let your body speak calm authority. And that quiet control can make people feel deeply drawn to you. Steady eye contact creates pull. Steady eye contact creates pull because it makes attention feel direct, personal, and hard to ignore. Most people look away too quickly when they feel nervous, exposed, attracted, or uncertain. Their eyes move around the room, drop to the floor, or escape into their phone because holding someone's gaze can feel too intimate. So when you can maintain calm eye contact without forcing it, your presence becomes stronger. Eye contact is powerful because it tells people you are fully there. You are not distracted. You are not hiding. You are not afraid to meet the moment. When someone speaks and your eyes stay present, they feel heard in a deeper way. It makes them feel like their words are landing, not disappearing into empty air. But the power is in steadiness, not intensity. Staring too hard can feel uncomfortable or invasive. Steady eye contact is softer. It holds attention without trapping the other person. It says, "I see you," without making them feel studied. That balance creates attraction because it feels confident, warm, and emotionally controlled. The emotional pull comes from the quiet tension eye contact creates. A few seconds of calm gaze can make a simple moment feel charged. It can make a compliment feel more sincere, a pause feel deeper, and a conversation feel more intimate. People may not remember every word you said, but they may remember the way your eyes made them feel noticed. Steady eye contact creates pull because it turns ordinary attention into presence. And when someone feels truly seen through your gaze, they may begin to feel a connection before either of you says it out loud. Interest attracts. Desperation repels. Interest attracts. Desperation repels because people can feel the difference between being genuinely wanted and being emotionally chased. Interest is calm. It notices, listens, responds, and creates warmth without trying to force an outcome. Desperation is different. It pushes, clings, rushes, over-explains, over-texts, over-gives, and secretly begs the other person to provide reassurance. This difference matters because attraction needs space to breathe. When you show interest with confidence, the other person feels chosen but still free. They sense that you like them, but your entire emotional world is not depending on their reaction. That makes your attention feel safe, mature, and enjoyable. They can move closer because they do not feel trapped by your need. Desperation creates the opposite feeling. It can make someone feel responsible for your confidence, your mood, and your sense of worth. Even if they were interested at first, too much hunger can create pressure. They may begin to pull away, not because you have no value, but because your energy feels too heavy. Desperation turns attraction into obligation, and obligation quietly kills desire. The emotional pull comes from self-control. A person who can show interest without losing themselves feels rare. They can compliment without worshiping. They can reach out without chasing. They can care without collapsing. That balance makes them more attractive because their affection feels chosen, not needy. Interest attracts because it says, "I see you." Desperation repels because it says, "Please save me from feeling unwanted," and people are naturally drawn to those whose attention feels warm, steady, and confident, not those whose need makes closeness feel like pressure. Emotional discipline feels rare. Emotional discipline feels rare because most people are ruled by whatever they feel in the moment. When they are angry, they attack. When they are insecure, they chase. When they are jealous, they accuse. When they are hurt, they punish. When they are excited, they reveal too much too quickly. Their emotions become the driver, and their behavior becomes the evidence. So when someone can feel deeply and still remain controlled, it creates a powerful kind of attraction. Emotional discipline does not mean hiding your feelings or pretending nothing affects you. It means you do not let every emotion become an action. You can feel anger without becoming cruel. You can feel desire without becoming desperate. You can feel disappointment without losing your dignity. You can feel love without surrendering your entire self-respect. That kind of control makes people feel they are dealing with someone strong, not unstable. This is attractive because discipline creates safety. People relax around someone who does not turn every mood into a storm. They feel they can speak honestly without fearing an explosion. They feel they can make mistakes without being emotionally destroyed. They feel they can be close without walking on eggshells. The emotional pull comes from rarity. Many people have intensity, but few have control. Many people can express emotion, but few can guide it with maturity. When your emotions are powerful but disciplined, your presence becomes deeper. Your silence feels intentional. Your words feel measured. Your reactions feel meaningful. Emotional discipline feels rare because it shows inner command. It tells people you are not easy to provoke, not easy to manipulate, and not easy to break. And that quiet mastery can make you deeply magnetic. Independent happiness creates curiosity. Independent happiness creates curiosity because people are fascinated by someone who does not seem to need constant attention to feel alive. Many people depend on outside reactions to feel good about themselves. Their mood rises when they are praised, chosen, texted, admired, or included, and falls when the world becomes quiet. So when you carry happiness that does not seem fully controlled by other people, it makes others wonder what kind of inner world you have. This kind of happiness is attractive because it feels free. You are not waiting for someone else to rescue your mood. You are not using romance, attention, popularity, or approval as the only proof that life is meaningful. You can enjoy your own thoughts, your own routines, your own space, and your own direction. That makes your presence feel lighter because people do not feel pressured to constantly keep you emotionally alive. Independent happiness creates emotional mystery. Others may begin to wonder why you seem peaceful without needing to be entertained, why you can enjoy solitude without looking lonely, and why your confidence does not collapse when attention is not on you. That curiosity pulls them closer because people are often drawn to what they do not fully understand. The emotional pull comes from strength. When happiness comes from within, your affection feels cleaner. You are not clinging to people because you are empty. You are choosing them because they add something beautiful to a life that already has meaning. Independent happiness creates curiosity because it tells people your joy is not easily owned, and when someone senses that you can be happy without them, they often become more interested in becoming part of that happiness. Giving space makes people miss you. Giving space makes people miss you because absence gives the mind room to feel the value of your presence. When someone is always available, always replying, always explaining, always giving, and always trying to stay close, there is no emotional space for the other person to notice what your presence means. They may enjoy your attention, but they may not feel the ache of your absence. Space is powerful because it creates contrast. People understand warmth more deeply when they have felt its absence. They notice your calm voice more when they have not heard it for a while. They remember your attention more when it is not constantly offered. They think about your presence more when you are not filling every moment with access. Distance, when used with maturity, allows your value to breathe. This does not mean disappearing to punish someone or using silence as a game. That creates confusion, not attraction. Healthy space means you have your own life, your own rhythm, your own peace, and your own self-respect. You can care without hovering. You can love without clinging. You can be present without becoming permanently available. The emotional pull comes from longing. When someone has enough room to miss you, their feelings become clearer. They begin to remember how they felt around you, what your presence gave them, and why your energy stood out. Space lets memory do what constant access cannot. Giving space makes people miss you because it protects your presence from becoming ordinary. When you are not always within reach, your return feels more meaningful. And when people feel the difference between your absence and your presence, they begin to understand your value more deeply. Freedom creates stronger attraction than pressure. Freedom creates stronger attraction than pressure because people move closer when they feel they still have a choice. Pressure may force attention for a moment, but it often weakens desire. When someone feels pushed, rushed, questioned, tested, controlled, or emotionally cornered, their natural instinct is to protect themselves. Even if they liked you at first, too much pressure can make closeness feel like a responsibility instead of a desire. Freedom feels different. It tells someone they can enjoy your presence without being trapped by it. They can respond because they want to, not because they feel guilty. They can come closer without fearing that you will demand more than they are ready to give. That emotional space makes your energy feel safer, lighter, and more attractive. This is powerful because attraction needs room to grow. When you pressure someone, you make them focus on escape. When you give freedom, you allow them to focus on how they actually feel. They begin to notice your warmth without defending against it. They begin to miss you without feeling chased. They begin to choose you without feeling controlled. The emotional pull comes from confidence. A person who gives freedom is silently saying, "I do not need to force what is real." That kind of self-trust is magnetic. It shows that you value connection, but you do not need to imprison someone's attention to feel secure. Freedom creates stronger attraction than pressure because it allows desire to rise naturally. When people feel free around you, they relax, And when they relax, they can feel the connection without fear. That is when attraction becomes honest, powerful, and much harder to resist. Boundaries raise your value. Boundaries raise your value because they show people that access to you has meaning. When you have no boundaries, your time, attention, emotions, forgiveness, and energy become too easy to reach. People may enjoy your kindness, but they may also begin to treat it casually. They may assume you will always understand, always wait, always reply, always forgive, and always stay, even when they give little respect in return. Boundaries change that. They quietly teach people that your presence is not unlimited. You can be kind, but still unavailable for disrespect. You can care, but still refuse emotional confusion. You can forgive, but still require changed behavior. You can love someone, but still choose yourself when closeness begins to cost your peace. This creates attraction because boundaries reveal self-respect. People are naturally drawn to those who know their own limits. A person with boundaries does not feel empty, desperate, or easy to control. They do not give everything just to be chosen. They do not accept anything just to avoid being alone. That inner firmness makes their warmth feel more valuable. The emotional pull comes from the feeling that closeness to you must be handled with care. When people know you have boundaries, they become more aware of how they treat you. They understand that your patience has a limit, your attention has worth, and your forgiveness is not permission to repeat the same harm. Boundaries raise your value because they protect what makes you powerful. Without boundaries, your softness can be misused. With boundaries, your softness becomes respected. And when people realize you are warm but not easily available for mistreatment, your presence becomes harder to take for granted. Do not try to prove attractiveness. Do not try to prove attractiveness because the moment you start begging others to see your value, your energy begins to lose its power. Real attraction is not something you force into people's eyes. It is something they feel through your presence, confidence, restraint, self-respect, and the way you carry yourself when nobody is validating you. When you try too hard to prove you are attractive, people often sense the insecurity behind the effort. This happens when someone over-explains their worth, constantly seeks compliments, compares themselves to others, forces attention, posts only to be praised, or behaves in a way that silently asks, "Do you see me now?" Instead of creating desire, it can create pressure. People may notice the performance, but they may not feel the pull. Attractiveness becomes weaker when it looks like it is begging to be confirmed. True attractiveness feels different. It does not need to shout. It does not need to compete with everyone in the room. It does not panic when attention shifts elsewhere. A person who knows their value can be warm, stylish, expressive, and confident without turning every moment into a test of whether they are desired. The emotional pull comes from self-assurance. People are drawn to those who do not need constant proof that they are enough. When you stop trying to prove attractiveness, your energy becomes calmer and more believable. Your beauty, charm, and presence have more room to breathe because they are no longer buried under desperation. Do not try to prove attractiveness because what is truly magnetic does not beg to be noticed. It allows itself to be discovered. Receive compliments calmly. Receive compliments calmly because the way you accept praise reveals how you feel about yourself. Many people become uncomfortable when someone compliments them. They laugh nervously, reject the praise, explain it away, change the subject, or quickly return a compliment because they do not know how to stand inside being appreciated. This may seem humble, but it can sometimes show that admiration feels unfamiliar or unsafe. Calmly receiving a compliment creates attraction because it shows self-possession. You are not desperate for praise, but you are not afraid of it either. You do not collapse into awkwardness. You do not act like the compliment is shocking. You simply accept it with ease, as if being valued does not confuse you. That quiet confidence makes people feel that your worth is not waiting for permission. This does not mean becoming arrogant. It means allowing kind words to land without turning them into a performance. A simple smile, steady eye contact, and a calm "thank you" can say more than a long explanation. It tells the other person that you appreciate their words, but you are not dependent on them to feel complete. The emotional pull comes from comfort with being seen. When you receive compliments calmly, people sense that you are not fighting your own value, you are not begging for validation, and you are not rejecting it out of insecurity. You are balanced. Receive compliments calmly because it makes your confidence feel natural. People enjoy praising someone who can accept it with grace. And when you respond to admiration with quiet ease, your presence becomes more attractive because it shows you can be appreciated without becoming needy, embarrassed, or inflated. Matching words with actions builds attraction. Matching words with actions builds attraction because consistency makes people feel safe with you. Anyone can say the right thing in the moment. Anyone can promise effort, loyalty, honesty, change, patience, affection, or respect when emotions are high. But words alone do not create deep trust. People become truly drawn to you when your behavior proves that your words have weight. This is powerful because many people have been disappointed by beautiful words with weak follow-through. They have heard apologies that changed nothing, promises that disappeared, compliments that had no sincerity, and affection that was loud one day but absent the next. So when they meet someone whose actions match what they say, it feels rare, it feels steady, it feels real. Matching words with actions creates attraction because it removes confusion. People do not have to keep guessing where they stand with you. They do not have to decode mixed signals, chase clarity, or wonder if your kindness is temporary. Your behavior becomes evidence. If you say you care, you show care. If you say you respect them, your actions carry respect. If you say something matters, you treat it like it matters. The emotional pull comes from reliability. A person whose words and actions align feels mature, grounded, and trustworthy. Their presence does not create anxiety because they are not constantly contradicting themselves. That kind of consistency makes closeness feel safer. Matching words with actions builds attraction because it proves your character without needing performance. People may be impressed by what you say, but they become attached to what you repeatedly show. And when your behavior confirms your words, your presence becomes easier to trust and harder to forget. Consistency beats intensity. Consistency beats intensity because intensity can feel exciting, but consistency makes people feel secure. Anyone can show strong interest for a short time. They can send long messages, give passionate compliments, make big promises, create emotional highs, and make someone feel like the center of their world. But if that energy disappears quickly, it leaves confusion behind. Intensity without consistency can feel powerful in the moment, but unstable over time. Consistency is different. It does not need to overwhelm someone to prove care. It shows up steadily. It listens repeatedly. It respects boundaries again and again. It keeps promises even when the mood has changed. It gives warmth that does not vanish suddenly. That kind of presence creates trust because people begin to feel they are not dealing with temporary emotion, but real character. This creates attraction because the heart eventually gets tired of emotional highs that come with uncertainty. People may crave excitement, but they deeply value someone whose energy does not keep changing without warning. Consistency makes them feel safe enough to open, relax, and believe what they are experiencing. It tells them your affection is not just a mood, it has roots. The emotional pull comes from reliability. When your behavior remains steady, people stop wondering if they must earn your kindness every day. They stop fearing that your attention will disappear without reason. They begin to trust your presence because it feels dependable. Consistency beats intensity because intensity can impress, but consistency builds attachment. Intensity may create sparks, but consistency creates peace. And when someone has experienced too many unstable connections, the person who remains steady can become more attractive than anyone who only knows how to create temporary fire. Keeping promises makes you magnetic. Keeping promises makes you magnetic because it proves that your words are not empty decorations. Many people speak beautifully in the moment. They promise to call, promise to change, promise to show up, promise to listen, promise to care, and promise to be different. But when the moment passes, their actions disappear. Over time, people stop trusting words that are not supported by behavior. A person who keeps promises carries a different kind of attraction. They make others feel safe because their words have substance. If they say they will do something, they do it. If they commit to a time, they respect it. If they say someone matters, their behavior reflects that. This kind of reliability feels rare because many people are used to being disappointed by people who sounded sincere but acted careless. Keeping promises creates emotional security. It tells people they do not have to keep questioning your intentions. They do not have to wonder whether your kindness is temporary or whether your affection depends only on mood. Your consistency becomes proof, and proof is more powerful than charm. The emotional pull comes from trust. When someone realizes you mean what you say, they begin to relax around you. They feel they can believe you without feeling foolish. They feel they can open up without expecting betrayal. That kind of trust makes your presence valuable. Keeping promises makes you magnetic because it turns ordinary words into emotional safety. People may be attracted to beauty, confidence, humor, or mystery, but they become deeply drawn to someone whose word feels dependable. In a world where many people promise easily and follow through poorly, the person who keeps promises becomes unforgettable. Reliability can outshine excitement. Reliability can outshine excitement because excitement may awaken desire, but reliability gives it somewhere safe to stay. Excitement is easy to notice. It comes with mystery, laughter, intensity, chemistry, surprises, and emotional highs that make a person feel alive for a moment. But if excitement is not supported by trust, it can quickly become exhausting. People may enjoy the thrill, but they do not always feel secure inside it. Reliability creates a different kind of attraction. It is quieter, but deeper. It shows in the way you keep showing up, the way your words remain steady, the way your actions do not change every time your mood shifts. A reliable person does not make others constantly wonder where they stand. They do not create confusion just to keep attention. They do not disappear, return, promise, fail, and expect the same trust again. This becomes powerful because many people have been hurt by unstable excitement. They have known people who made them feel wanted one day and forgotten the next. They have confused emotional chaos with passion and later realized it only made them anxious. So when someone becomes reliable, that steadiness feels like relief. The emotional pull comes from safety. When people can count on you, they stop protecting themselves as much. They begin to relax into your presence. They start trusting your affection, your attention, and your intentions. Reliability can outshine excitement because the heart eventually wants more than a spark. It wants peace. It wants someone whose presence does not feel like a beautiful risk every time. And when reliability feels warm, consistent, and real, it can become more attractive than excitement ever was. Avoiding drama makes you safer to love. Avoiding drama makes you safer to love because people feel more secure around someone who does not turn every emotion into a crisis. Many people confuse drama with passion. They believe love must come with arguments, jealousy, testing, chasing, emotional punishment, and constant tension to feel real. But over time, that kind of connection does not create depth. It creates exhaustion. A person who avoids drama carries a different kind of attraction. They do not look for problems just to feel important. They do not twist small misunderstandings into emotional battles. They do not use silence to punish, jealousy to control, or anger to prove they care. Their love feels safer because it does not keep the other person guessing when peace will disappear. This does not mean avoiding hard conversations. It means handling them with maturity. You can speak about pain without attacking. You can express disappointment without creating fear. You can disagree without making someone feel unsafe. That kind of emotional control makes people feel that closeness with you will not cost them their peace. The emotional pull comes from relief. Many people have been around love that felt unstable, where one wrong word could start a storm. So when they meet someone who brings calm instead of chaos, they begin to relax. They feel they can be honest without being punished. They feel they can be close without preparing for emotional damage. Avoiding drama makes you safer to love because it shows that your affection is not dangerous. People may be excited by chaos for a moment, but they trust peace longer. And when your presence feels peaceful, mature, and emotionally steady, love becomes easier to enter and harder to leave. Peaceful lives quietly attract. Peaceful lives quietly attract because many people are tired of living inside noise they do not know how to escape. They may chase excitement, attention, drama, status, and constant movement, but deep down, a part of them longs for calm. So when they meet someone whose life feels peaceful, steady, and emotionally clean, it creates a pull that does not need to shout. A peaceful life is attractive because it suggests inner order. It shows that you are not addicted to chaos just to feel alive. You do not need constant conflict to feel important. You do not surround yourself with unnecessary tension, gossip, confusion, or emotional emergencies. Your world feels protected, and that protection makes your presence feel valuable. This kind of peace creates curiosity. People begin to wonder how you stay so calm, why your energy feels different, and what it would be like to enter a life that does not constantly drain them. They may not say it out loud, but they feel the contrast. Around others, they may feel pressure. Around you, they feel rest. The emotional pull comes from safety. A peaceful life tells people that closeness to you will not always feel like a battle. It makes them feel they can breathe, think clearly, and soften without being pulled into unnecessary storms. Peaceful lives quietly attract because peace is rare in a world full of emotional noise. People may be entertained by chaos, but they are healed by calm. And when your life feels like a place where the nervous system can rest, your presence becomes quietly magnetic, not because it is loud, but because it feels like relief. Calm people make others feel accepted. Calm people make others feel accepted because their presence does not feel like a test. Around some people, every word feels judged, every mistake feels magnified, and every emotion feels like something that must be hidden. People become tense because they are not sure what reaction they will receive. They edit themselves, shrink themselves, and try to become easier to approve of. But around a calm person, the pressure begins to fall away. Calmness creates acceptance because it gives people room to be human. When someone speaks awkwardly, you do not make them feel foolish. When they reveal insecurity, you do not punish them with judgment. When they are emotional, you do not rush to shame them or fix them too quickly. Your steadiness tells them that they do not have to be perfect to stay safe in your presence. This is deeply attractive because most people are exhausted from performing. They want someone around whom they can breathe. They want to be seen without being criticized, heard without being dismissed, and understood without being forced to explain every feeling. Calm people offer that rare emotional space. The emotional pull comes from relief. When someone feels accepted around you, their guard slowly lowers. They become more honest, more playful, more vulnerable, and more present. They stop trying to protect themselves from your reaction because your energy does not feel dangerous. Calm people make others feel accepted because they do not turn ordinary human flaws into reasons for rejection. Their presence says, "You can be real here." And once someone feels accepted by you, they may begin to crave your calm because it gives them permission to stop hiding. Dignity during vulnerability is unforgettable. Dignity during vulnerability is unforgettable because it shows that you can be open without losing yourself. Many people think vulnerability means spilling everything, breaking down completely, begging to be understood, or handing someone full control over your emotional state. But true vulnerability is different. It is the courage to reveal something real while still holding your self-respect. This kind of vulnerability attracts because it feels honest, but not chaotic. You can admit pain without turning it into a performance. You can say you care without sounding desperate. You can express fear without making another person responsible for saving you. You can share a wound without using it to control, guilt, or trap someone emotionally. That balance makes your openness feel powerful instead of overwhelming. Dignity during vulnerability creates deep emotional impact because people are used to seeing two extremes. Some hide everything and pretend nothing touches them. Others expose everything with no boundaries. But the person who can be soft and still composed becomes rare. They show humanity without losing inner command. The emotional pull comes from trust. When you are vulnerable with dignity, people feel invited closer, not burdened. They see a real part of you, but they also sense your strength. That combination makes them respect your softness because it does not feel weak. It feels brave. Dignity during vulnerability is unforgettable because it reveals depth without surrendering value. It tells people you are not afraid to be human, but you are also not careless with your heart. And when someone witnesses that kind of honest strength, they often remember it long after the moment ends. Grounded people inspire others upward. Grounded people inspire others upward because their stability makes growth feel possible. They do not need to lecture, shame, control, or constantly advise people to become better. Their presence alone can make others notice the gap between who they are and who they could be. When someone is calm, disciplined, emotionally steady, and clear about their values, they quietly raise the standard of the room. A grounded person does not move through life from impulse to impulse. They are not easily pulled into gossip, chaos, jealousy, insecurity, or pointless drama. They have a center. They think before reacting. They choose peace without becoming passive. They hold boundaries without becoming cruel. That kind of balance makes people feel that there is another way to live. This creates attraction because people are drawn to those who make them feel better without making them feel small. A grounded person can challenge you simply by being consistent. Around them, you may want to speak more honestly, act more maturely, think more clearly, and stop making excuses for your own disorder. Not because they forced you, but because their energy reminds you of what self-respect looks like. The emotional pull comes from quiet elevation. Grounded people do not drain others with chaos. They give others something steady to rise toward. Their presence makes growth feel safe, not humiliating. They do not make you feel judged for where you are, but they make staying the same feel less comfortable. Grounded people inspire others upward because they carry a calm strength that exposes what is possible. And when someone makes you feel both accepted and challenged to become better, their presence becomes deeply powerful. Enjoying small things makes you alive. Enjoying small things makes you alive because it shows that your happiness is not waiting for life to become perfect before it appears. Many people postpone joy. They tell themselves they will feel better when they have more money, more attention, more success, more beauty, more love, or more certainty, so they move through life missing the quiet moments that were already offering them peace. A person who enjoys small things carries a different energy. They notice the warmth of morning light, the taste of good food, the sound of laughter, the comfort of clean sheets, the beauty of a calm walk, or the simple pleasure of a real conversation. This does not make them childish or easily satisfied. It makes them present. It shows that their spirit is still awake. This creates attraction because people are drawn to aliveness. When you can find joy in ordinary moments, you make life feel softer around you. You are not always waiting for something dramatic to happen before you become interesting. You bring attention, warmth, and appreciation into the present moment, and that makes others feel more aware of life too. The emotional pull comes from your ability to make simple moments feel meaningful. Around you, a quiet evening may feel peaceful. A small joke may feel special. A short walk may feel memorable. Your joy becomes contagious because it reminds people of a part of themselves they may have forgotten. Enjoying small things makes you alive because it proves your inner world is not numb. And people are deeply attracted to those who can still feel wonder in a world that teaches everyone to rush past it. Joy without shame is attractive. Joy without shame is attractive because it shows that you are not afraid to be fully alive in front of people. Many people hide their excitement because they fear looking childish, too emotional, too soft, too loud, or too easily pleased. They reduce their happiness to avoid judgment. They pretend not to care too much. They dim their reactions so nobody can accuse them of being simple, needy, or uncool. But someone who can enjoy life openly carries a different energy. Their joy feels honest. They laugh when something is funny. They smile when something touches them. They show excitement without immediately apologizing for it. They allow good moments to be good without trying to appear emotionally untouchable. That kind of freedom is magnetic because it makes others feel permission to relax too. Joy without shame creates attraction because it reveals confidence. It says, you do not need to perform boredom to look mature. You do not need to hide happiness to seem powerful. You are secure enough to feel what you feel without asking the room if it is acceptable. That makes your presence feel refreshing in a world where many people are too guarded to enjoy anything fully. The emotional pull comes from authenticity. People are drawn to those who make life feel warmer, lighter, and more honest. When your joy is real, it can lift the atmosphere around you. It makes simple moments feel memorable because you are actually present inside them. Joy without shame is attractive because it shows emotional courage. It proves that your spirit has not become numb from fear of judgment. And someone who can feel joy openly often becomes unforgettable because they remind others what it feels like to be free. Genuine interests beat trying to impress. Genuine interests beat trying to impress because real passion has a different energy from performance. When someone is only trying to impress, their words often feel polished but empty. They talk about things because they want to look smart, successful, cultured, mysterious, or desirable. But underneath, people can often sense the effort. It feels like they are not sharing themselves. They are selling an image. Genuine interests feel different. When you speak about something you truly care about, your energy changes naturally. Your eyes become more alive. Your voice carries more warmth. Your thoughts become clearer because you are not pretending. You are expressing a part of your inner world. That honesty makes people feel closer to you because they are not just seeing what you want them to admire. They are seeing what actually moves you. This creates attraction because depth is more memorable than performance. You may impress someone for a moment by saying the right thing, wearing the right thing, or knowing what sounds impressive. But when you reveal a real interest, something personal comes through. It could be music, books, cooking, fitness, art, business, nature, faith, history, or even something quiet and unusual. What matters is that it belongs to you. The emotional pull comes from authenticity. People are drawn to those who have a world inside them. Genuine interests show that your life has texture beyond trying to be liked. You are not empty without attention. You are already connected to something meaningful. Genuine interests beat trying to impress because they make you feel real, and what feels real often becomes more attractive than anything carefully performed for approval. Curiosity makes conversations alive. Curiosity makes conversations alive because it turns ordinary talking into real discovery. Many conversations feel flat because people are not truly listening. They are waiting for their turn, preparing their next story, trying to sound interesting, or rushing to prove what they know. The words may continue, but the connection feels empty because nobody is being explored with genuine attention. Curiosity changes that. When you are curious, you make the other person feel that there is more to them than the surface. You ask questions that open doors. You notice what makes their voice change. You follow the emotion behind their words instead of jumping to the next topic. You make them feel like their thoughts are worth entering, not just hearing. This creates attraction because people enjoy being discovered slowly. They want someone who cares enough to look closer. Curiosity makes them feel interesting without needing to perform. It gives them permission to reveal stories, opinions, memories, fears, and desires they might normally keep hidden. A curious person makes conversation feel less like an exchange of information and more like an experience. The emotional pull comes from attention that feels alive. When someone senses that you are truly interested, they become more present too. They speak with more energy. They open up with more ease. They begin to associate you with the rare feeling of being listened to in a way that makes them feel larger inside. Curiosity makes conversations alive because it keeps connection from becoming predictable. It turns simple moments into emotional movement. And when people feel that talking to you reveals something deeper about themselves, they often want to keep returning to your presence. Better questions create deeper attraction. Better questions create deeper attraction because they make people feel explored, not just entertained. Most people ask surface questions because they are afraid of depth or do not know how to reach it. They ask what someone does, where they are from, what they like, or how their day was, but they rarely ask questions that make the other person pause, feel, remember, or reveal something real. A better question does not interrogate, it invites. It opens a hidden room in someone's mind without forcing the door. It makes them feel that you are not just passing time with them. You are genuinely interested in how they think, what shaped them, what excites them, what scares them, and what they rarely say out loud. That kind of attention can feel deeply attractive because it gives the conversation emotional weight. Better questions create connection because they move past performance. Many people know how to give polished answers to ordinary questions, but a thoughtful question reaches behind the image. It may ask what they wish people understood about them, what changed them quietly, what kind of peace they are looking for, or what they value more now than before. Suddenly, the conversation feels alive. The emotional pull comes from feeling discovered. When someone answers a deeper question, they are not just sharing information. They are giving you access to a more private part of themselves. And when they feel safe doing that, attraction can grow quickly. Better questions create deeper attraction because they make people feel seen beyond the obvious. They show that your attention has depth, patience, and courage. And in a world full of shallow conversations, the person who asks with real curiosity becomes difficult to forget. Make people think, not feel small. Make people think, not feel small. Because influence becomes attractive when it awakens someone instead of humiliating them. Some people try to sound intelligent by making others feel foolish. They correct harshly, mock confusion, interrupt with facts, or use knowledge like a weapon. They may win the moment, but they often lose emotional connection because nobody enjoys feeling reduced in the presence of someone they wanted to trust. Real attraction grows when your intelligence feels safe. You can challenge someone's thoughts without attacking their worth. You can introduce a new idea without making them feel ignorant. You can disagree without turning the conversation into a competition. That kind of mental strength feels rare because it does not need to dominate to be powerful. When you make people think, you create curiosity. You give them a new angle, a deeper question, or a different way to see themselves and the world. You make their mind stretch without making their heart close. Instead of feeling embarrassed, they feel expanded. Instead of feeling corrected, they feel awakened. The emotional pull comes from respect. People are drawn to those who can sharpen their thinking while still protecting their dignity. They remember the person who made them see something differently without making them feel stupid for not seeing it before. Make people think, not feel small, because the deepest attraction often comes from mental safety. If someone can learn around you, question around you, and grow around you without feeling judged, they will start associating your presence with expansion. And when your mind makes their world feel bigger, they may keep coming back because you make them feel wiser, not weaker. A thoughtful pause can feel intimate. A thoughtful pause can feel intimate because it shows that you are not rushing past what someone has given you. Many people respond too quickly. They hear something personal, emotional, honest, or vulnerable, and immediately fill the space with advice, jokes, opinions, or their own story. They may mean well, but the speed of their response can make the other person feel unheard, as if their words were handled too lightly. A thoughtful pause does something different. It gives the moment weight. It tells the other person that what they said mattered enough to be held for a second. You are not ignoring them. You are receiving them. That small silence can feel powerful because it creates emotional space around their truth. This is why pauses can deepen attraction. When someone says something meaningful and you do not rush to speak, they feel your presence more strongly. They may notice your eyes, your expression, your calm breathing, or the way you are truly considering them. The pause becomes a quiet signal that you are not just reacting, you are connecting. The emotional pull comes from being taken seriously. A thoughtful pause can make a simple response feel deeper. It can make a compliment feel more sincere, a question feel more personal, and a moment of understanding feel more private. It slows the conversation just enough for both people to feel the emotion underneath the words. A thoughtful pause can feel intimate because it creates the rare feeling of being fully received. In a world where everyone rushes to answer, the person who pauses with care makes silence feel warm, respectful, and strangely unforgettable. Revealing slowly keeps curiosity alive. Revealing slowly keeps curiosity alive because people remain interested in what they have not fully discovered yet. When you expose everything too quickly, your past, your emotions, your fears, your desires, your private stories, and your deepest thoughts all at once, the connection may feel intense for a moment, but it can also lose mystery too soon. What is fully handed over too early can sometimes feel less valuable. Slow revelation creates attraction because it gives people layers to explore. You do not need to hide who you are or pretend to be unavailable. You simply understand that your inner world deserves timing. Some parts of you are shared casually. Some parts are shared with trust. Some parts are reserved for those who have shown care, patience, and emotional maturity. That makes your openness feel intentional, not careless. This is powerful because curiosity feeds emotional attention. When people sense there is more to you than what they already know, their mind keeps returning to you. They wonder what shaped you, what you think when you are quiet, what you feel beneath your calmness, and what kind of depth you have not yet shown. That wondering keeps the connection alive. The emotional pull comes from anticipation. Every small reveal feels meaningful because it arrives with timing. A personal story feels intimate. A private opinion feels special. A moment of vulnerability feels earned. Revealing slowly keeps curiosity alive because it protects your depth from becoming ordinary. It teaches people that knowing you is not instant access. It is a gradual invitation. And when someone feels they are discovering you piece by piece, their interest often grows stronger with every layer. Peaceful confidence beats aggressive confidence. Peaceful confidence beats aggressive confidence because true strength does not need to threaten the room to be felt. Aggressive confidence often tries to prove itself through loudness, dominance, interruption, arrogance, or the need to always appear superior. It may grab attention quickly, but it can also make people feel tense, defensive, or emotionally unsafe. It says, "Look how powerful I am," but underneath, it often reveals insecurity wearing a hard face. Peaceful confidence feels different. It does not need to compete with everyone. It does not need to make others feel small to feel important. It can listen without feeling weakened. It can disagree without becoming hostile. It can stand firm without turning every moment into a fight. That kind of confidence feels deeper because it is not performing strength. It is resting in it. This creates attraction because people trust calm strength more than noisy power. Around aggressive confidence, people may feel impressed, but not always safe. Around peaceful confidence, they feel both respect and ease. They sense that you know your value without needing to attack anyone else's. The emotional pull comes from control. Peaceful confidence tells people that your ego is not fragile. You do not need constant validation, control, or victory to feel secure. Your presence has weight because it is steady, not forceful. Peaceful confidence beats aggressive confidence because it makes strength feel safe. It shows that you can be powerful without being harsh, respected without being feared, and attractive without trying to dominate. And in a world where many people confuse loudness with confidence, quiet inner security becomes unforgettable. Comfort with being misunderstood is powerful. Comfort with being misunderstood is powerful because it shows that your identity is not controlled by every opinion people form about you. Many people panic when they are misread. They rush to explain, defend, correct, prove, and convince others to see their intentions clearly. Sometimes explanation is necessary, but when you need everyone to understand you before you can feel peaceful, you give too much power to other people's perception. A person who is comfortable being misunderstood carries a different kind of strength. They know that not everyone will see them accurately, not everyone will interpret their silence correctly, respect their boundaries, understand their choices, or recognize their heart, but they do not collapse every time someone gets them wrong. They remain grounded because their self-knowledge is stronger than outside confusion. This creates attraction because inner certainty feels rare. When you do not chase every false opinion, your presence becomes calmer. You stop over-explaining to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop shrinking your truth to make others comfortable. You stop begging for approval from those who only see the version of you that suits their story. The emotional pull comes from quiet self-trust. People are drawn to someone who can stand inside their own truth without constantly needing witnesses. It makes your energy feel mature, private, and difficult to manipulate. Comfort with being misunderstood is powerful because it proves you are not living as a prisoner of public interpretation. You can clarify when needed, but you do not lose yourself trying to be accepted by everyone. And when people sense that your peace is not easily disturbed by their judgment, your presence becomes deeply magnetic. Those who do not beg get chosen. Those who do not beg get chosen because self-respect creates a stronger pull than desperation. When someone begs for love, attention, replies, loyalty, affection, or reassurance, they may think they are proving how much they care. But often, what others feel is pressure. Begging turns desire into need, and need can make even genuine affection feel heavy. A person who does not beg carries a different energy. They can care without crawling. They can love without losing dignity. They can miss someone without humiliating themselves for access. They can want closeness without forcing it from someone who is unwilling to give it. That kind of restraint makes their presence feel valuable because it shows they understand their own worth. This creates attraction because people respect what does not chase them endlessly. When you refuse to beg, you silently communicate that your love is meaningful, but not available for careless treatment. You are not cold. You are not heartless. You simply understand that what must be begged for is not truly being given, and what is not freely given cannot make you feel secure. The emotional pull comes from quiet strength. People may test how much you will tolerate, but when they see that you can walk away without pleading, your value becomes clearer. Your absence begins to speak louder than your effort ever did. Those who do not beg get chosen because they do not turn themselves into something small just to be kept. They allow people to choose them freely or lose access to them completely. And that kind of dignity can make someone far more desirable than endless chasing ever could. Selective energy makes attention valuable. Selective energy makes attention valuable because people respect what is not given everywhere. When your time, focus, warmth, and emotional presence are available to anyone at any moment, they can begin to lose weight. People may enjoy your attention, but they may not treat it as something special. What is always accessible often becomes easy to overlook. Selective energy changes that. It shows that your presence has standards. You are not cold, but you are careful. You are not distant, but you are intentional. You do not give your deepest attention to every person who wants access to you. You choose where your energy goes, who deserves your softness, and what kind of connection is worth your emotional investment. This creates attraction because selectiveness makes your attention feel earned. When you finally focus on someone fully, they feel it more deeply. Your listening feels personal. Your compliments feel more meaningful. Your warmth feels more intimate because it is not scattered carelessly across everyone. People begin to sense that being noticed by you means something. The emotional pull comes from rarity. If your energy is selective, people become more aware of how they show up around you. They may become more thoughtful, more sincere, and more careful with your presence because they know access is not automatic. Selective energy makes attention valuable because it protects your emotional currency. You are not giving pieces of yourself away just to be liked. You are allowing your presence to remain meaningful. And when people understand that your attention is warm but not easily wasted, they often begin to desire it more because it feels chosen, rare, and worth earning. Depth without emotional dumping attracts. Depth without emotional dumping attracts because it shows that you have an inner world, but you also have emotional control. Many people confuse being deep with revealing everything too quickly. They share every wound, every fear, every painful memory, every disappointment, and every emotional struggle before trust has had time to grow. At first, this may create intensity, but it can also make the other person feel overwhelmed instead of connected. True depth feels different. It does not rush to expose itself. It reveals meaning with timing, restraint, and self-awareness. A deep person can speak honestly without turning the conversation into a burden. They can share pain without making someone else responsible for carrying it. They can be vulnerable without using vulnerability to force closeness, sympathy, or emotional rescue. This creates attraction because people are drawn to depth that feels safe. They want to know that there is more beneath your surface, but they also want to feel that your emotions will not drown them. When you express yourself with maturity, your inner world becomes interesting instead of heavy. Your stories feel meaningful. Your thoughts feel layered. Your silence feels full. The emotional pull comes from balance. You are not shallow, but you are not chaotic. You are not closed, but you are not spilling everything without care. That kind of restraint makes people feel invited into your depth, not trapped inside it. Depth without emotional dumping attracts because it protects intimacy from becoming pressure. It shows that your emotions are real, but guided. And when someone senses that you have depth with discipline, they often want to come closer because your inner world feels powerful, safe, and worth discovering. A calm exit beats a dramatic fight. A calm exit beats a dramatic fight because leaving with control often says more than arguing with pain. Many people believe they must prove how hurt they are by raising their voice, attacking, explaining endlessly, or trying to force the other person to understand. But dramatic fights often drain your dignity. They may express emotion, but they can also make your pain look uncontrolled, even when your feelings are valid. A calm exit carries a different kind of power. It shows that you recognize when a moment no longer deserves more of your energy. You do not need to destroy someone with words to prove they disappointed you. You do not need to beg for closure from someone who keeps creating confusion. You do not need to turn your hurt into a performance just to make them feel guilty. This creates attraction and respect because self-control during conflict is rare. People expect anger when they disrespect you. They expect chasing when they pull away. They expect emotional collapse when they test your limits. So when you leave calmly, without cruelty and without begging, your silence becomes heavier than any argument. The emotional pull comes from dignity. A calm exit tells others that your peace matters more than winning a fight. You can care, but still walk away. You can be hurt, but still remain composed. You can feel deeply, but still refuse to lose yourself in chaos. A calm exit beats a dramatic fight because it protects your value. It leaves people with your strength, not your breakdown. And sometimes, the most unforgettable response is not the loudest one, but the one that leaves quietly with self-respect intact. How you treat powerless people reveals you. How you treat powerless people reveals you because character is clearest when there is nothing to gain. Anyone can be kind to someone attractive, powerful, popular, rich, useful, admired, or able to reward them. That kind of kindness may look good, but it does not always prove depth. The real test comes when you are dealing with someone who cannot help your image, raise your status, open doors for you, or give you anything in return. This is where hidden character shows, the way you treat waiters, cleaners, younger people, older people, strangers, shy people, poor people, quiet people, or anyone who cannot defend themselves easily says more about you than your charm ever could. If you become rude when there is no consequence, impatient when no one important is watching, or dismissive when someone seems beneath you, people notice. Even if they say nothing, their trust in you changes. This creates attraction because kindness with no agenda feels rare. When someone sees you treat a powerless person with dignity, they feel safer around you. They realize your respect is not just a performance for people you want to impress. It is part of who you are. That kind of consistency creates emotional trust. The emotional pull comes from moral safety. People want to be close to someone whose goodness does not depend on status. They want to know that if one day they are weak, tired, vulnerable, or unable to offer anything, you will still treat them with care. How you treat powerless people reveals you, because power exposes the heart. And when your kindness remains gentle, even when nobody can reward you, your presence becomes deeply respectable. Character keeps attraction alive. Character keeps attraction alive because surface appeal can get attention, but it cannot carry connection for long. Beauty, charm, confidence, mystery, humor, and style may pull people in at first, but over time, people begin to look deeper. They start noticing how you handle pressure, how you treat others, how honest you are when lying would be easier, and whether your actions still match your words when the excitement fades. This is where character becomes powerful. Character is what remains when the performance is over. It shows in your patience, loyalty, kindness, discipline, humility, and self-control. It shows in whether you respect boundaries, keep promises, admit mistakes, and choose maturity when your ego wants drama. These things may not always create instant sparks, but they create something stronger. Emotional trust. Attraction without character often becomes tiring. A person may be exciting, but if they are selfish, inconsistent, cruel, dishonest, or emotionally careless, their appeal begins to lose its beauty. What once felt magnetic can start to feel unsafe. People may still remember the attraction, but they no longer feel peace inside it. The emotional pull of character comes from depth. When someone realizes that your goodness is not an act, your presence becomes more valuable. They feel safer opening up. They feel calmer trusting you. They feel proud to be close to you because your beauty is not only in how you look or speak, but in how you live. Character keeps attraction alive because it gives desire something stable to respect. Looks may start curiosity, but character sustains admiration. And when attraction is supported by real integrity, it becomes harder to replace. Respect creates loyalty. Respect creates loyalty because people stay emotionally connected to where their dignity feels protected. Many people think loyalty is created by attention, affection, chemistry, time, or shared memories. But those things are not always enough. If a person feels disrespected, ignored, embarrassed, controlled, or taken for granted, their heart may slowly begin to leave long before their body does. Love can weaken when respect disappears. Respect makes people feel safe with you. It shows in how you speak when you are upset, how you listen when they express discomfort, how you handle their boundaries, and how you treat their feelings when they are vulnerable. Respect tells someone, "Your humanity matters to me, even when I do not fully agree with you." That kind of treatment creates a deep emotional bond because people rarely forget those who protect their worth. This creates attraction because respect feels grounding. It does not make people feel like they must fight to be valued. They do not have to beg for basic kindness, explain why their feelings matter, or shrink themselves to keep peace. Around respectful people, closeness feels safer because dignity is not constantly at risk. The emotional pull comes from trust. When someone knows you will not mock their weakness, misuse their honesty, humiliate them in conflict, or treat them as disposable, they begin to relax into loyalty. They do not stay because they are trapped. They stay because your presence feels honorable. Respect creates loyalty because it makes people feel valued beyond what they can give you. And when someone feels consistently respected, they are more likely to protect the connection, remember your goodness, and choose you even when easier options appear. Too much availability kills mystery. Too much availability kills mystery because people stop wondering about what is always within reach. When you are constantly present, constantly replying, constantly explaining, constantly giving, and constantly making yourself accessible, your presence can begin to feel ordinary. Even if you are kind, attractive, interesting, or deeply caring, unlimited access can slowly reduce the emotional weight of your attention. Mystery needs space. It needs a little room for curiosity to breathe. When someone knows they can have your time whenever they want, hear from you whenever they feel like it, and receive your emotional energy without effort, they may enjoy the comfort, but they may stop feeling the pull. What is always available often becomes less exciting to the mind, even when the heart still appreciates it. This does not mean becoming cold, distant, or manipulative. It means having a life outside of being available. It means not abandoning your routine, peace, goals, and self-respect just to stay within someone's reach. You can care deeply without becoming permanently on call. You can respond warmly without making yourself emotionally accessible every second. The emotional pull comes from balance. When your presence has rhythm, people feel the difference between your absence and your return. They begin to miss your voice, value your attention, and notice the comfort you bring when you are present. Too much availability kills mystery because it removes the space where desire grows. People need room to think about you, wonder about you, and feel your absence. When you protect your availability with self-respect, your presence becomes less common, more intentional, and much harder to take for granted. People are drawn to emotional safety. People are drawn to emotional safety because it gives them something most people secretly crave but rarely receive: the freedom to stop protecting themselves. In a world where everyone is trying to appear confident, busy, unbothered, attractive, successful, and emotionally strong, meeting someone who makes you feel safe can feel almost addictive. It is not always loud. It does not always look like romance at first. Sometimes it begins with a calm voice, a patient response, or the feeling that you do not have to explain every part of yourself to be accepted. This is why emotional safety is so powerful in attraction. People may notice beauty first, but they remember peace longer. When someone feels safe around you, their nervous system begins to relax. They stop choosing every word carefully. They stop hiding their real opinions. They laugh more naturally. They reveal small truths they would normally keep guarded. Without realizing it, they begin to connect your presence with relief. The strange part is that emotional safety can create a deeper pull than excitement. Excitement may make the heart race, but safety makes the heart stay. When people feel judged, they withdraw. When they feel understood, they open. And once someone associates you with being understood, they may begin to seek you out, not just because they like you, but because being around you feels like finally breathing after holding themselves together for too long. That is why emotionally safe people often become unforgettable. They do not force attraction. They create a space where people feel seen, accepted, and calm, and that kind of presence can become dangerously hard to replace. Being understood is more attractive than being impressed. Being understood is more attractive than being impressed because admiration can feel distant, but understanding feels personal. Anyone can be impressed by your looks, achievements, confidence, money, talent, style, or social status. But when someone feels understood by you, something much deeper happens. They stop feeling like they have to perform for your attention. They stop trying to prove they are interesting. They begin to feel that you are not just looking at the version they show the world, but noticing the quieter parts they usually hide. This is why understanding creates stronger attraction than praise. Praise touches the ego, but understanding touches the heart. A person may enjoy being complimented, but they remember the one who noticed what they were really feeling underneath their words. They remember the one who heard the sadness behind their joke, the nervousness behind their confidence, or the loneliness behind their silence. That kind of attention feels rare because most people listen only long enough to reply, not long enough to truly see. When someone feels understood, they become emotionally open without even planning to. They may start sharing more, staying longer in conversation, or looking for your reaction before anyone else's. Not because you forced closeness, but because your presence makes them feel less alone inside themselves. That is the hidden power of understanding. It creates intimacy before intimacy is even spoken. Being impressive may get someone's attention, but being understanding can hold their emotions. Impressing people makes them look at you with admiration, but understanding them makes them feel connected to you. And once a person feels deeply understood, they may begin to crave your presence because you make their inner world feel less invisible. Calm energy makes people feel safe around you. Calm energy makes people feel safe around you because it tells their nervous system that there is no danger in your presence. Before people judge your words, looks, status, or personality, they are already reading your energy. They notice how you respond under pressure, how your voice sounds when things become tense, how your face reacts when they reveal something personal, and whether your presence makes the room feel lighter or heavier. This is why calmness can be more attractive than loud confidence. Loud confidence may grab attention, but calm energy holds it. When you are calm, people feel they do not have to defend themselves around you. They do not feel rushed, judged, attacked, or emotionally cornered. Your steadiness gives them permission to soften. They begin to breathe differently. They speak more honestly. They stop preparing for rejection before they even finish talking. Calm energy is powerful because most people are used to emotional chaos. They are used to people overreacting, interrupting, competing, criticizing, or turning every small issue into tension. So when they meet someone who remains grounded, it feels unusual, it feels mature, it feels like peace, and peace can become deeply addictive to a person who has spent too long around emotional noise. The attraction comes from the feeling that you are not easily shaken. People trust what feels stable. They want to be close to someone who does not make them anxious, confused, or unsafe. Your calmness becomes a silent signal that they can relax around you. And once someone connects your presence with peace, they may keep returning to you because being near you feels like escaping the pressure they carry everywhere else. Attention becomes powerful when it feels earned. Attention becomes powerful when it feels earned because people value what does not come too easily. When your attention is available to everyone, at every moment, with no standard, no patience, and no emotional control, it starts to lose weight. But when your attention is warm, present, and selective, people begin to feel that receiving it means something. They do not just enjoy it, they respect it. This is one of the quietest secrets of attraction. People are not only drawn to attention itself, they are drawn to the feeling that your attention has value. If you respond to everything instantly, laugh at everything, agree with everything, and give your energy away too freely, people may like the comfort of your presence, but they may not feel the pull of your value. Attraction grows stronger when someone senses that your focus is not automatic. When attention feels earned, it creates emotional tension, not cruel distance, not games, not coldness, but a subtle feeling that your presence must be met with sincerity. People begin to become more thoughtful around you. They choose their words more carefully. They show more effort. They become curious about what truly gets your interest because your attention does not feel cheap. The powerful part is that earned attention makes people feel chosen. When you finally listen closely, smile deeply, compliment honestly, or give your full presence, it lands harder because it was not scattered everywhere. They feel seen in a way that feels personal. And once someone experiences your attention as something rare, they may start wanting more of it, not because you chased them, but because your energy taught them that being noticed by you matters. Deep listening makes you unforgettable. Deep listening makes you unforgettable because most people are surrounded by noise, but rarely surrounded by true attention. Many conversations look like listening on the outside, but underneath, People are waiting for their turn to speak, preparing their next answer, or quietly judging what is being said. So when someone meets a person who listens with patience, focus, and emotional presence, it feels different. It feels rare. It feels almost disarming. Deep listening is powerful because it makes people feel important without you having to flatter them. When you listen closely, you are silently telling them, what you feel matters here. You notice the words they repeat. You notice what they avoid saying. You notice when their voice changes, when their smile hides discomfort, or when their silence carries more truth than their explanation. That kind of listening reaches places ordinary attention never touches. This creates attraction because people remember those who make them feel deeply seen. They may forget the exact conversation, but they will remember the feeling of not being interrupted, dismissed, or rushed. They will remember how their guard dropped without permission. They will remember how your quiet attention made them reveal things they did not expect to say. The magnetic part of deep listening is that it makes someone feel discovered. Not exposed, not judged, but discovered in a way that feels safe. And when people feel discovered, they often become emotionally attached to the person who saw them clearly. Your listening becomes more than a social skill. It becomes a memory in their body. Later, when they are around people who only hear words and miss the meaning, they may find themselves thinking of you because you made being understood feel possible. People want those they can relax around. People want those they can relax around because most of life already demands too much emotional effort. Every day, people are trying to appear strong, interesting, attractive, intelligent, successful, healed, and in control. They edit their words, manage their expressions, hide their insecurities, and pretend certain things do not bother them. So when they meet someone who allows them to breathe without performing, that person immediately feels different. Relaxation creates attraction because it removes pressure. People do not only remember who excited them, they remember who made them feel free from tension. When someone can sit with you without feeling judged, rushed, tested, or emotionally examined, they begin to trust your presence. Their shoulders drop. Their laughter becomes more natural. Their words become less filtered. They stop trying to impress you and start becoming real around you. This kind of comfort is powerful because it creates emotional dependence quietly. A person may not understand why they enjoy being near you so much. They may simply say, you are easy to talk to, peaceful, or different. But underneath, their nervous system has started connecting you with relief. You become a break from the pressure they carry everywhere else. The deeper pull comes from contrast. If the world makes them feel tense, but you make them feel calm, your presence becomes valuable. If others make them feel like they must prove themselves, but you make them feel accepted, they will naturally want more access to you. People are drawn to those who feel like rest, and once someone can truly relax around you, they may begin to crave your presence because being with you feels like coming home to a version of themselves they do not have to hide. Mystery works when it comes from self-control. Mystery works when it comes from self-control because people are naturally curious about what they cannot immediately read, access, or predict. But real mystery is not about pretending to be cold, disappearing for attention, hiding your personality, or acting confusing on purpose. That kind of mystery feels childish after a while. The kind that creates attraction comes from restraint. It comes from knowing what to reveal, when to speak, and when to let silence carry weight. Self-control makes mystery powerful because it shows that you are not desperate to be understood by everyone. You do not rush to explain every emotion. You do not expose every thought the moment it enters your mind. You do not give your full story to people who have not earned the right to hear it. This creates a quiet sense of depth. People begin to feel there is more to you than what they can see. That kind of mystery pulls people in because it gives their mind something to explore. They start wondering what you think, what you feel, what you have experienced, and why your energy feels so contained. You become interesting not because you are unavailable, but because your presence has layers. The emotional power of self-controlled mystery is that it makes your openness feel valuable. When you finally share something personal, it lands harder because it was not given carelessly. When you show warmth, it feels intentional. When you give attention, it feels chosen. People are drawn to those who do not spill themselves everywhere. Mystery becomes attractive when it is rooted in discipline, because controlled depth makes people want to come closer without feeling like they already know everything. Needing less validation makes you more magnetic. Needing less validation makes you more magnetic because it shows people that your sense of worth is not waiting to be approved by the room. Most people are quietly searching for signs that they are liked, desired, respected, attractive, or important. They watch reactions. They measure replies. They become anxious when attention disappears. So when someone carries themselves without begging to be noticed, it creates a rare kind of power. This does not mean acting proud, cold, or uninterested. It means your mood does not collapse because someone failed to praise you. It means you do not change your personality just to win approval. It means you can be warm, kind, and present without needing constant confirmation that you are enough. That kind of inner steadiness makes people curious because it feels uncommon. Validation independence creates attraction because people respect those who are not easily controlled by attention. If praise makes you lose yourself or rejection makes you desperate, others can sense it. But when you remain grounded, whether you are admired or ignored, your presence becomes stronger. People start wondering what gives you that quiet confidence. They feel that you are not performing for them, and that makes your energy feel more real. The powerful part is that needing less validation makes your attention feel cleaner. You are not complimenting people just to be liked. You are not agreeing just to be accepted. You are not chasing just to feel chosen. This makes your words carry more weight because they come from self-possession, not hunger. And when people sense that you do not need their approval to feel valuable, they often begin giving it more freely because your confidence makes them want to earn a place in your world.